This is Michael Williamson at the MCG in Melbourne before a capacity crowd, bidding you welcome to the 1972 Grand Final, Richmond versus Carlton. Carlton won the toss and they're kicking down to the Richmond end, and of course Richmond will be kicking up to the new scoreboard end. The umpire is Bill Della, both teams as selected. It's a fantastic sight here, an electrifying atmosphere. The ball is on Richmond's half-forward flank on the outer side of the ground. Bobby Skilton, you've noticed changes.
Well, quite a few changes, Mike. Mackay's gone to a back pocket, Waite to a half-back flank, picking up Richardson. Nichols is open in the forward pocket. Jones opened in the first ruck. Armstrong has gone to the centre. Chandler to a half-forward flank. Carlton have literally changed almost half the selected side.
Can you see any changes for Richmond?
Not so far, Mike. I'm still trying to pick them up, but I can't see any at the moment.
Southby now, almost in the back pocket on the outer side of the ground. The ball swings in towards the centre of the MCG. They fly high, the ball's knocked away. Through comes Kevin Hall. McCullough knocks the ball forward. Taken there by Jackson. Jackson down towards the goal square. Nichols comes out there. The ball is knocked away, however. Taken now by Walsh. He gets it out to the wing position on that outer side of the ground. Players go over. It's a pretty hectic opening of the 72 Grand Final. There's Morris of Richmond coming through. Gallagher of Carlton has the ball. Tries a hand pass. And there'll be a free kick going Gallagher's way. As Nichols at full forward, as Gallagher takes his kick. It's one deep down into the scoring zone. Taken by Robert Walls. He runs into Sheedy, but he gets his left boot to it. And the first score of the 72 Grand Final, 1 point to Carlton. Ron Barassi.
Well, Mike, obviously the Carlton selectors and the coach have planned this side, especially around, changed it round completely almost to...
Keogh and Sheedy having a go at each other behind the play. Sorry, Ron.
Well, that's a big kick out from the Richmond full-back. It comes down to ground, but there's a free kick.
Look at this.
There it is on again. Well, it just shows you that the...
And the boundary umpire's warned Keogh.
Well, I think he's probably warned both players, Mike. It just shows you the intensity with which this game is going to be played. There's a punch down, goes to the ground. Armstrong's in there. He's been a good player in the finals. Coming through there was Bartlett. He gets his left foot down to the half-back flank where Dill's in the race for the ball. Takes it now. Steadies, has plenty of time to place the ball up towards the wing. Almost picks out his teammate, but Robertson has got the ball now. Has forced the handball and it goes over the line on the true wing position outer side of the ground.
Wait for the throw-in now. The umpire, Bill Della. In goes Jones. McCullough gets up in front. McCullough gets a tap away. In comes Morris. Morris is bundled over. It's called a bounce, I think. Umpire Bill Della about to bounce the ball on the half-forward flank for Carlton on the outer side of the ground. 34, there's Robertson. 28 is Jones. Up he goes, but McCullough comes in, gets a tap away, taken by Kevin Hall. Kevin Hall down towards centre half-forward. Jesselenko leading out. Jesselenko loses control of the ball. Over anxiousness, but he's still going. Jesselenko now tries a short one. It'll come off. Keogh marks. Keogh has marked within kicking distance. 30 yards out on an angle, kicking to the Richmond end goal. Kevin Sheedy on the mark. Keogh coming up. He's in good line. It's on its way. It's swinging around. It's swung in. The first goal of the match to Carlton from the boot of Trevor Keogh. 3.5 minutes into the opening quarter. Bobby Skilton.
And what an opening, Mike. You mentioned about Keogh. It's not just Keogh, but it's every player on the ground. Carlton have literally changed half of their side. They've made 8 positional changes to the selected side that I can come up with, and so far the Carlton boys have adapted themselves better than the Richmond side. They've been in attack for most of the 3.5 minutes of play so far. As we get another centre bounce, it's a high one. Jones is up high, beats the for the knock. Chandler comes through, puts a short kick along the ground. It's Walsh coming out, but it's Keogh who beats him to the ball. Keogh swings around, drives the ball high, looking for Robert Walls. From behind, Nichols knocks the ball away. It comes down to Kevin Bartlett. He does a blind turn, gets out of trouble with the left foot and finds his teammate in Morris. He plays on quickly, going straight through the centre of the ground. A driving kick towards centre half forward. It's Dool and Hart. A great mark by Hart, but it's called play on by umpire Bill Della. A free kick against Royce Hart for holding the ball. It goes to Southby. He plays on quickly. His kick smothered by McMillan. The ball going towards the centre wing position. It's Morris of Richmond who comes through. He's well pushed in the back according to umpire Della. And out on the half-forward flank, it'll be Morris, the Richmond ruck rover, to take the free kick. Dallas bringing a 15-yard penalty against the Carlton side. Kevin Morris. The kick by Morris, not a particularly long kick. It goes in with Mackay of Carlton, comes out in defence, and it's Mackay who takes a good, strong defensive mark. Mackay selected as ruck rover, started off in the back pocket. This kick by Mackay, off the side of the boot a little bit, punched away by Hurst. It comes to Armstrong. He quickly gets the ball to the foot. Going down looking for Walls. It's punched away by Walls from Hunt. Finds Robertson. Robertson puts a left foot to the ball. It finds Keogh well out in front. Keogh walks around a couple of opponents, runs on quickly. A poor kick by Keogh, goes past Chandler. It's taken by Dick Clay. Clay bursts away from defence, drives the ball right out of danger, but player's been held up by umpire Della and has given a free kick to Trevor Keogh, obviously against Paul Sproul. Personally, I did not see it. I was following the ball, and I can't give any decision at all as to just why that might have been a free kick.
Did you see it, Ron?
Yes, a whack across the head, but I thought he called playing because he'd already, gone with the play.
Keogh now down forward, they fly high. Jesselenko was in that lot, couldn't come out with the ball. Hunt tries a kick off the ground. Big Nick's in after him. Nick picks the ball up, but he's given away a free kick. Hunt to take it. Hunt of Richmond now, he's a left footer, takes his kick, goes towards the centre of the MCG. Up goes Jones, knocks the ball away. Barry Richardson, but it's Sproul. Sproul now of Richmond, right deep down into the forward zone. David Mackay backing back, drops the mark. Oh, and he gets it hard. Across it goes to O'Connell. O'Connell of Carlton out of the half-back flank on the outer side, and Francis Burke takes the mark. Burke of Richmond, a great player. His kick is a long one, back into the forward zone. Barmer's in front, Mackay knocks the ball away. In comes Southby, they're scragging. Plenty of free kicks in that lot if you want to look for them. Oh, Barry Richardson off the ground, put it through. Richardson fumbled, recovered well, and kicked it off the ground as you saw. And it's the first goal of the match to Richmond at the 6.5-minute mark into the first quarter. Carlton now 1-1-7 to Richmond, 1 goal straight. Ron Barassi, you've played in 8 grand finals. How much is the pressure on both teams out there? Can you feel it?
Well, the players are almost beside themselves with anxiety and determination to do well, and this often causes mistakes. There's the big bounce, goes up towards McCullough. He gets the knockdown, it's taken by Vine, but he couldn't get his connection. Sproul handballs out in the open, going towards Armstrong. He eventually, about to break away, but a free kick has been called back to Morris, who will take his about 3rd or 4th kick already for the match. He may be a force in this game. Going towards the forward pocket, beats both Mackay and Barman, goes out of bounds in the forward pocket on the inner side of the ground. So far the match looks at a complete replay of the second semi-final replay in the first quarter. It's a great game. Mackay goes up, gets it down to Keogh. Keogh balks around. He's working well today. He gets up towards the half-back flank, favouring Dixon, and Dixon takes a good mark there, well judged against Bond. A bit of a whack in the face there for freeze of it, but part of the game completely accidental. His torpedo goes up towards Robert Walls. Robert Walls forced to punch. It goes to ground. Highwood's in there, kicks it off the ground. Taken by Bartlett. He goes high towards centre half forward. A big pack of players 5. Hall punches, then recovers. Handballs across to Keogh. Keogh drops it. Recovers on the ground. It could be a decision here. I think it is. It's a ball up. Perhaps the wisest decision that umpire Della could make under those circumstances, and this will take place in front of the member stand on the half-forward flank for the Richmond side. McCullough, Jones, no one gets the knock. Coming through there was Morris once again, gets his kick up towards Richardson. Waite knocks him aside, he's forced to knock it on towards Dool. Dool well shepherded by Hurst, gets his kick up towards centre half forward, punched away by Walsh. Armstrong coming in, couldn't gather the half volley. Could be a free kick there, no play on his call. This is real pressure stuff there as Armstrong is ridden into the ground there. Must take the free kick between the centre position and the wing position on the inner side of the ground. Armstrong now playing in the centre. That's one of the changes that Carlton have rung, one amongst many. He goes for a long kick now. A good kick for Armstrong. It's gone at least 60 yards towards Jesselenko. Jesselenko almost took the one-hander. Here he is again, the Magic Man hand passes towards Walls. Walls gets it across towards Nichols taps towards Jackson it was, and he just could not get his foot to it over the last few inches, and a certain goal was missed there for the Carlton side.
Brass, already one thing is evident, there's not much between these two teams in ability.
Well, no, Mike, but the same applied 3 weeks ago, so it's a bit early to tell, but there's a knockdown by Jones. Went to Keogh. Keogh comes in, so does Dixon. He gets a short pass up towards Little Sydney. I was going to say Big Sydney. He's a big star, is Sydney. A free kick on that occasion. I couldn't quite figure that one out, but Boynich must have been being shepherded by Alex Jesselenko. Clay I'm talking about. Clay with a kick now up towards the half-back flank. A beautiful kick. Big pack of players flies. Royce Hart couldn't get it. Kevin Hall ruck roving, comes through, breaks away, is forced a handball to lose possession. Hart with the ball. Gets the right foot up towards Jones. Jones has the ball spoiled. Richardson hand passes to Sproul. Good work, Barry Richardson. Sproul up with a drop kick up towards McKay. McKay punches the ball away.
Free,
But manhandles at the same time. It is a free.
Barn will take it.
Correctly called, and young Barn, Neil Barn, takes the kick now about 50 yards from goal.
And Royce
45
Hart,
degrees.
you saw him a moment ago on the back line. They're covering territory, these boys. Baum kicking up to the scoreboard end. Waite and Richardson having a bit of a niggle. Southby watching McLean. It's on its way from Baum and it's through. Richmond's second goal of the match at the 11.5-minute mark into the first quarter. Well, Bobby, what impression have you gained so far?
Well, exactly what you said before, Mike. There is not much between these sides. The pressure that's on at the moment is absolutely great. There's Tommy Hafey in the other box, Keith McKenzie, and there's just as much pressure on these fellas. Probably not as much on McKenzie because he's got Nichols out in the ground. Mackay and Baum there at the moment, and the pressure that's on every player. You can see that there's been a bit of fumbling. Even Keogh, who's probably been one of the best players on the ground so far, has fumbled on occasions, and it's purely because of pressure. This pressure will naturally ease up a little bit later, but it'll take a long while the way this game's going.
They've lost the ball. A new one has been brought out to umpire Bill Della. Della, the obvious choice for the 72 grand final. He's umpired magnificently throughout the year. There's McKellar trying to get the ball, but through comes Francis Burke. Burke now up to the forward zone. Out comes McLean, and McLean is marked. McLean looking for a 15-yard penalty, but it's not on, says umpire Bill Della. But McLean is only about 45 to 50 yards out, well within kicking distance. Puts in a bit of a skip, it's on its way. I think he's hooked it. The goal umpire's running across. 1 point results. Richmond now 2 goals, 1 to Carlton, 1-2. Waiting for Jeff Southby to kick out from the scoreboard end. A capacity crowd here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. It's a wonderful sight, a thrilling sight. Southby's kick, he comes along the member stand flank now. The players set themselves. Jones is in front. McKellar goes up with him, neither able to take the ball. It comes to Sproul. Sproul of Richmond hooks it around, pops one for his corner. Down forward it goes. It bounces awkwardly. In comes Dool, but Bartlett kicks it off the ground, goes across the face. Cummings after it there for Richmond, but the ball goes over the boundary line. There'll be a throw in Richmond's forward pocket on that outer side. Baum and Mackay going for it. Up they go. They both tap it at the same time. In comes Bartlett. O'Connell sweating on him there, but Bartlett picks up, hooks it around with his left foot. The ball bounces awkwardly. Southby knocks it clean over the boundary line. There'll be another throw in that forward pocket for Richmond on the outer side. We are now 13 minutes into the opening quarter of the 72 grand final. Up they go. Baum gets a tap away this time. Through comes Hart, but pushes the ball on in front of him. Mackay a bit slow picking it up. Comes out with the ball. He's scragged. He could get a free. He'll get it all right. Bob Skilton.
David Mackay, about 20 yards out from the Richmond goal. Elects to go straight up the centre of the ground. It's a lovely kick by Mackay, right to the centre. McKellar was up high, made no attempt to try and mark the ball, but it comes to Gallagher. Gallagher goes straight down the centre, looking for Robert Walls, and Walls it is who takes the mark. Hand passes on quickly to Armstrong. Armstrong drives it down, looking for Nichols right in the square. He's up high, but can't take the mark. Grabs the ball, puts it to Boone, and it's running towards goal. Full points, there's that one from Nichols. 3 Richmond players attempted to get to the ball, but unfortunately for them, it dribbled through, and that's Big John's first goal for the game. Carlton's second, and Carlton go to a 1-point lead.
Bob, hardly a classic goal.
Not exactly what you'd call classical, Mike, but it's on the board, and it's still 6 points, and I'm sure that John Nichols is truly happy with that particular one. Probably makes the move of Nichols starting off in the forward pocket worthwhile as Jones and McKellar go. McKellar gets a knock. It's knocked on by Sproul, taken by Gallagher. He can't burst through the pack, but a free kick has been paid to Gallagher as umpire Dalla decided that he was held when not in possession of the ball. Gallagher favouring the drop punt. Goes over looking for Jesaulenko now, and it's a great mark by Jesaulenko in the middle of the pack virtually. I think he caught Kevin Sheedy unawares. Sheedy made no attempt to punch that ball away, and purely I think because he didn't realise that Jesaulenko had it. Jesaulenko about 45 yards out. The kick, it looks right through the centre. A lovely kick by Jesaulenko. Jesaulenko's first, Carlton's third. And they go to a 7-point advantage now with a lovely goal by Alex Jesaulenko.
Standard of play improving, Ron Barassi.
Yes, Mike, they're settling down the two teams. It's interesting to notice that the first 4 goals scored by Richmond and Carlton were from moves made by Carlton, in that Richardson, who was manned by Waite on the half-back flank, got his goal. Then David McKay let his opponent get a goal, and Nichols, permanent in the forward pocket to begin with, got a goal. Keogh's Rover got one, and here we see Royce Hart breaking away, but it doesn't matter what he does. It's been called back to play, and a free kick has been given to the Carlton side.
O'Connell to take it.
I believe that, and I'd like to say this beforehand, Mike, it's easy after the ball, but I believe Carlton's tactics are very well planned.
Let's see what happens as the game unfolds, and you're watching it through the Channel 7 network. There's a kick from O'Connell, goes in towards the centre. Jones from behind, almost took it. In comes Sid Jackson. He can't break clear, and he'll get a free kick for being held while not in possession. Jackson a little wide of the centre towards the wing on the outer side. Jackson now swings it in towards centre-half forward. Plenty of Richmond fellows there. Up goes Big John. Couldn't go away with it. It's over to Jesaulenko from Hall. Jesaulenko hooks it around a left footer. Goes towards the pocket on the member stand side. Up goes Sheedy. Couldn't come out with it. Kevin Hall. Oh, blimey. He missed it. Oh, an open go then for Kevin, but he couldn't steer it through, and you could see the look of anguish on his face. Waiting for Dick Clay now to kick out. Carlton a 3-3-21. Richmond 2-1-13. Clay kicking out from the Richmond end of the MCG. Where's he going? Looks like he's going to favour the outer side. His kick dropping a little short, and they come. Francis Burke unable to hold the mark. A battle going on. Robertson with the ball, can't get away. Cummings fighting. Over it goes to Burke. It's called play on. Burke shepherded by Bartlett to McKellar. McKellar a long hand pass across here to Morris. Morris now from the wing position on the outer side to the half-forward flank on the outer side. In comes Ricky McLean. He's close to the boundary line. Oh! Round the neck, I'd say. And McLean has the kick a long way out. He's on the half-forward flank on the outer side. Couldn't see him kicking the distance. It's going almost to the edge of the goal square. Up they fly, no mark. The ball picked up there by McMillan, but he can't break clear. Taken by Hurst. Hurst comes along the member stand flank. Dixon has the run in there. Picked up by Armstrong. He's buffeted by Barry Richardson. The ball is hit over towards Bond. Bond now shoots at the big ones. It's drifting across. And 1 point results. That takes Richmond now on to 2-2-14 to Carlton 3-3-21. And we've been playing 18 minutes into the first quarter. There's probably the most talented runner in league football, Roger Dean, former captain of Richmond, broke his wrist a few weeks ago and has missed out on the final series. Bad luck for Roger, one of the game's great personalities. There's another one, Big Jones. Thought it was his. I don't think he's too happy, but a free kick had gone to Barry Richardson of Richmond. Richardson now, he would be some 65, 70 yards out. Kicks the ball, it's lobbing in the goal square. They set themselves, no mark, the ball knocked through for another behind to the Tigers. Ron, the game, it's a very tight one, very tight indeed.
No doubt about that, Mike. It's going to be the same situation that applied 3 weeks ago. It's a matter of the first team to break, as we see Jeff Southby going this time to the inner side of the ground towards Jones. He goes to the mark with McKellar once again, punches the ball down. This time it favours Barry Armstrong, who puts out Sid Jackson. Here's a crunch here, but Sid just taps the ball across. It comes to Robert Walls, who goes long to the square. Here's a knock on towards Nichols. Very surprising to see that Nick. He must have learned from last week or the week before when he played on and had a man come from behind to smother the kick. So he didn't take any chances on that occasion and took the mark. And
he was looking for an opening, though.
He was, but he could have played on the very first instance. But here he is, 2 yards out, kicks the goal, his second goal for the match, and that's a move that's working well. And will certainly give Tom Hafey plenty to ponder on, because John Nichols is a different sort of customer in goal to most, because he's got such tremendous strength, and his experience, of course, is a great aid to that strength. So that's 2 goals to John Nichols, 1 to Trevor Keogh in a forward pocket against Sheedy, so that their moves so far have gained them 3. Down the other end, it's cost them 2.
Ronnie, you pointed it out before, but there's been one hell of a lot of planning gone into Carlton.
Tremendous, yes. And I think you should judge the planning before it actually works. And if the thinking's good, well, then it's a good idea.
Back in the centre, Bill Della bounces the ball. It's an awkward bounce. Up goes McCullough with Jones there. Nobody able to break clear. Taken by Chandler of Carlton. Chandler gets down towards the goal square. Players racing out to meet it. Over goes Walls. Sheedy takes the ball. Sheedy now out to the half-back flank on the outer side of the ground. The ball bounces. It's Chandler coming in. Chandler pushing the ball in front of him. He's looking for somebody to kick it to, and he finds Keogh. Keogh wide of centre-half forward, out towards the flank on the outer side. Keogh's kick. Going down goalwards. The ball bounces. It's Robert Walls. And Walls has popped it through. And Carlton at the 20.5-minute mark into the first quarter, looking pretty good. They're 5-3, 33 to Richmond 2-3, 15. Well, Bobby Skilton, you're surprised.
Well, I am surprised, Mike, at the fact that Carlton have such a big break as this one, but they were very, very confident before the game, Carlton. There was a real air of, we are going to do well in the rooms, and they've started off exactly this way. And one of the players going for the ball now, it's Peter Jones. He's got the knock from the centre, and Jones has been, responsible in holding McCullough back there as the ball comes out to Wayne Walsh. Walsh is a blind turn, gets a handball across to Francis Burke. Burke runs around Keogh, puts a left foot to the ball, a bounce of the ball, almost beats Barmer, comes back to him, Cumming. He gains possession, gets a hand pass through to McMillan, coming back again, but a free kick has been found by Bill Della, and Darryl Cumming has the chance of bringing up Richmond's third goal. Cumming would be 50 yards out from goal, directly in front. Cummings' kick, the distance is there.
No worries.
So too is the accuracy as the goal umpire indicates full points, and that's Cummings first, Richmond's third, and it's two goals separating the two sides.
22 minutes into the first quarter, Bob.
Well, just as Carlton got that 3-goal break, it's typical of Richmond, and right throughout this final series, that they've come back very, very quickly and very, very hard. A good goal by Cumming then, and one that will lift the Richmond side. Back in the centre with umpire Bill Della. It's again Jones and McCullough. McCullough gets a knock. It's dropped by Sproul. Comes through to Dixon. He thought about a hand pass. Brooks back, tries to break through. Quickly gets his foot, goes sideways as Robertson comes through. Gets a hand pass across to Armstrong. Armstrong breaks through the centre and drives it down to centre half forward. And a great mark by Robert Walls. Walls thought about playing on. Now he elects to do so. Goes driving down, looking for John Nichols and Boyanich. Nichols up high, and the big fella's almost taken it. Jesselenko comes through, puts a foot to the ball.
Put it
Full
through.
points again. A great goal by Alex Jesselenko.
A freak.
His second, Carlton's sixth. And I mentioned Richmond coming back. Well, you couldn't ask for more than the way Carlton have come back to answer that goal of Richmond. Carlton 6-3, Richmond 3-3, and Carlton again have that 3-goal advantage. Coming back from the centre, it's one of their moves of Armstrong to the centre. He's playing particularly well.
23 minutes into the opening quarter. Ron Barassi, you surprised?
Not really.
Be honest.
No, not really, because they're capable of this sort of football. But let's see how the game continues on. I had a good feeling before the match. Here's Bartlett with the kick in the centre. Goes for the long kick right down to the goal square. We see McKay fly high. No one marks the ball. Southey, of course, with his pace, will break away here. Out to the half-back flank, he'll go towards Ian Robertson, leading well. He's got the mark well in front of Francis Burke at this stage. A good battle between these two players. Robertson now on the half-back flank, goes for the short pass up towards Paul Hurst, who balks around his left foot, will go for another balk. Coming into the centre of the ground, goes to the left foot, up towards the centre half-forward position where we see Walls, tries to knock the ball on, but it's taken by Richmond here in person of Stephen Highwood. He goes for the long kick down to the other centre half-forward where we see Brucey Dill go for the one-hander. A beautiful hand pass there by Jeff Southby to Vin Waite, out on the half-back flank. He goes long to the half-forward flank. Alex Jesselenko goes for the one-hander. Confusion there reigns supreme amongst the Richmond players, but they do recover as Dick Clay kicks the ball towards the boundary line. Adrian Gallagher judged the ball well, kept it in play with the one hand, kicks towards the forward pocket. Dick Clay again, but a free kick has been called, favouring Boyanich on this occasion, in the back pocket for the Richmond side.
Boyanich will come along the member stand flank, takes his kick, not a bad one, a drop kick, a beauty, almost to the wing position on the member stand side. Ball bounces for Bartlett, it's in his favour. Bartlett going for a run, a hand pass across here to Hart. Hart hasn't been in the game so far, but a magnificent kick by Hart, down in towards the forward pocket on the member stand side. A chance for coming into an open goal, and he's put it through. That's his second. Geez, fast, Bobby.
Very, very good play on that occasion, Mike. Neil Baum must get full credit for the way he knocked that ball back into play, giving Cumming the opportunity of running in to kick the easiest of goals. But it was Cummings, quick thinking, and it was opportune to come in there at the right time.
And I'm sure our friends through TVW in 7 in Perth, ADS 7 in Adelaide, CDC Canberra, TBT in Hobart, TNT in Launceston, RVN in Wagga, and relay stations throughout Australia are enjoying this first quarter of the 1972 Grand Final, with the scoreboard now reading Carlton 6-3 to Richmond 4-3. It's anybody's game. We've got a long way to go yet. It's a long journey, and those 36 gladiators out there on the arena of the MCG have certainly got a big day in front of them, and we're looking forward to every moment of it. It promised to be a great game. We haven't been let down so far. Up they go, bounce in the centre. The umpires, Bill Della. Both teams are selected. In they come. McMillan there pushes the ball in front of him. Couldn't get away with it. Highwood couldn't get through. But it's Kevin Hall of Carlton. Hall now goes to the big ones. Nichols! Look at him trying to crib around. But Boyanich is equally determined that he's not. Oh, come on, John. Worth the try, I suppose. But he's kicked two. He's kicked two. He's on an awkward angle. And Bill Della saying, you can't trick me, pal. John Nichols. Have to be a very straight kick. As you can see, you've got a beautiful shot of the angle there. He manoeuvres around, he kicks it. Look at that. That's his third. Well, let's hear comment from former Carlton coach Ron Barassi.
Well, I've seen John Nichols in this situation many times before, when he's in that forward pocket and he sets himself for a big task. In there, in that position, he really does the job. He gets the goals that are needed, and he's certainly showing the way in this respect today. He's opened up in the forward pocket, and so far Peter Jones hasn't come off the ball. So that's a great effort from Peter Jones, and also John Nichols is doing the job superbly. And this could be a change from Roger Dean. He's running out to Boynich. He's going to tell him to change his tactics, or it may be a change there. There's a knock-on from Richmond. Goes towards centre-half forward. Royce Hart couldn't handle the ball. Coming through there was
free kick, Hart.
Francis Burke, but a free kick has been called. It penalised Richmond then. But Royce Hart with the ball in the true centre-half forward position for the side. A kick drop short. Meets Southby. Southby fumbles the ball, but recovers. With his pace, gets out towards the boundary line. Paul Hurst there. Fumbled the ball initially. Got the hand pass out towards Gallagher. Put him under tremendous pressure. Wayne Walsh is in there. But Neil Chandler playing a good ruck-roving game, gets his quick kick under pressure. Craig McKellar hand passes across to Paul Sproul, who's having a great duel in the centre with Barry Armstrong. It goes to the pocket, and a great mark has been taken there. I think he'll find it with Jeff Southby in front of the pack. There's a few little how do you do's. It's not a tea party out there, but there's no need to make it like Stadium Hall, fellas, so keep your cool. And there's the fellow with all the cool in the world, Jeff Southby. Beaten at last start by Ricky McLean, is playing well at the moment. He goes long to the outer flank, a great kick, 65-yard. McCullough's there.
Oh,
and so is Royce Hart. Couldn't control the ball. A tackle there, maybe a free kick. No.
Whoa.
Armstrong. A free kick has been called. A bit long there with the whistle, perhaps, but Barry Armstrong has the kick. It would be up and about the 6 or 7 mark by now.
28 and a half minutes into the first quarter of the 72 Grand Final. Robert Walls knocks the ball clear. Taken there by Highwood. Over to Clay. Clay of Richmond now. Drive to the half-forward flank on the member stand side. The ball bounces. Swings in towards centre-half forward for Richmond. Taken by Southby. Southby very coolly kicks back over the centre. The players set themselves. A mark to Robertson. Will it be paid? Yes. Ian Robertson of Carlton. A little short of the centre into Carlton's territory. About to put them further downfield. His kick, it's a beautiful drop kick. The forwards go for it, the back men fly too. It's down to Keogh. Keogh swings around a left foot snap. One behind. 29 minutes into the first quarter. Carlton 7-4, 46. Richmond 4-3, 27. The big money men would be biting their fingernails now at this first quarter performance from Carlton. But don't sell Richmond out yet. I'll give you the big tip. Knock away there by Jones, taken by Jackson. He copped one, and it was seen. And Sydney's letting him know that he's in business too. And the kick given downfield. I don't think Richmond are in a position to start any of that rubbish. It's Dixon to take it, number 27. And he would be about 45 yards out on an angle. There's the kick. Oh, it's not a bad one. This is going to be close. It couldn't be any closer. It's right through. That's his first. And look at that scoreboard in the first quarter of the 1972 Grand Final. Carlton 8-4-52. Richmond 4-3-27. Well, there it is. You can't deny it. It's on the board. And Tommy Hafey must be wondering, what will he do? He's got sitting on the bench his 19th man, a triple Brownlow medalist in Ian Stewart. I think at this stage he must be very tempted to make some sort of move. But he's got great players out there. Can they come good? Can Carlton keep going? Gee, what a question. Well, what questions? They'll remain unanswered until about 5 o'clock. Francis Burke takes his kick now. It's a long one deep into the forward zone. Barmer's pushed out there. No free kick given. In comes Ricky McLean. McLean swings it around with his right boot and puts it through for one behind. There's McLean. Not opening as well as he did in their previous meeting. Carlton 8-4, Richmond 4-4. 4 goals down the Tigers. Roger Dean out there talking to Ricky McLean as Southby prepares to kick out from the scoreboard end. Southby now goes out to the members' stand flank. McKellar behind Jones. McKellar knocks the ball away, but it's in Carlton's favour. Through comes Morris. Morris in a bit of trouble on the wing position now, but eventually kicks to the half-forward flank. Barry Richardson's in there, but oh, big Percy Jones cuts across and takes the mark of a champion. Jones about to drive the Tigers out. There's his kick. To the wing position. Up goes McKellar. Couldn't hold the mark. Not doing as well today at the moment anyhow. A scramble and a free kick has been plucked out of this. It's going to Rex Hunt by the look of it. Hunt of Richmond now. Kicks in towards centre half forward. Players backing back. Knocked away by Barry Richardson. In comes McMillan. He escapes danger. McMillan lines him up and puts it through. 32 minutes into the first quarter. It's a long first quarter. Boy, oh boy. There's the scoreboard now, looking a bit better for the Tigers. Carlton 8-4 to Richmond 5-4. 13 goals scored in the first quarter of the 72 Grand Final. What more could you ask for? And you're watching it through the Channel 7 network. Back in the centre, Bill Della bounces the ball. Players go there. It's knocked away by McKellar, but it comes right back into the centre. They battle for it. Jackson's in there. Keogh runs into Morris. Morris dives on top of the ball. Jackson's in there. Keogh and Bill Della is about to bounce it again. So after all that, they really didn't get very far. In comes Jones. Francis Burke's there. Burke knocks it away. Knocked by Jackson, taken by McKellar. McKellar kicks wide to the flank position on the outer side of the ground. Robertson couldn't control it, taken by Bartlett. Bartlett gets around O'Connell, but his kick is smothered, but he batters up again. Bartlett down into the forward pocket on the outer side of the ground. And there'll be a kick taken by David Mackay. The ball went over the line on the full. There's a siren. What was a very long first quarter, 33 minutes. And at quarter time, the scoreboard reads Carlton 8-4-52, Richmond 5-4-34. At the MCG, it's umpire Bill Della about to bounce the ball, starting the second quarter of the 1972 Grand Final. At the start of the second quarter, we find Carlton are 8-4 to Richmond 5-4. There's a free kick going Richmond's way. Richmond in the second quarter will be kicking down to the Richmond end of the MCG, and naturally Carlton up to the scoreboard end. Can Carlton keep it up? Francis Burke takes his kick down towards centre half forward. Plenty of Carlton defenders there. Through they come. Hart tackles strongly. Southby couldn't get away, but it's Morris with the ball. Morris running into an open goal. There's a wide opening for the Tigers. Yes, indeed. 34 seconds into the second quarter, and Morris has popped one on the board for the Tigers, and they look a lot better. Carlton will never feel safe until this match is over, if they're going to win it, Ron Barassi.
Well, no team in the final does feel that way, Mike, until that bell goes. You just don't know, and particularly, as you say, with Richmond, because they have a very good record of fighting back. That was a great answer to Carlton's great first quarter. So let's see what's going to happen now as the bounce goes up. Jones is in there, still in the ruck. A great effort from Jones. He's not goes astray, straight to Burke. Out to the half-forward flank where Vin Wade on the half-back flank punches the ball away from Richardson. However, Sproul gets it, fumbles at the moment. Royce Hart's in there over the ball. Ducks away with it, but Paul Sproul has been paid the free kick. I couldn't quite see what it was for. However, it was certainly an E for an effort job as Paul Sproul comes in now with a drop kick up towards full forward. A big pack of players fight it. Southby coolly and calmly takes the 2 grab mark, as a lot of Jeff Southby's marks are, and he puts the Blues out of pressure, out of trouble up towards the centre position. We see his kick go. Sid Jackson playing basketball. Eventually comes to Adrian Gallagher. His kick goes wide to the half-forward flank. Got Walls is in there. Beats Hunt on that occasion. A beautiful kick there. Awkward one. Finds Neil Chandler. His man Walsh has been left and his kick goes towards goal. And it's a goal. A great goal by Neil Chandler. Full marks there to Robert Walls, who was about to kick the ball with a straight follow through, but saw Chandler at the last split second and flipped it across the side of his foot to find Chandler all on his own. He'd been left on his own by Wayne Walsh. 2
minutes into the second quarter. Ronnie, it's unusual to see a grand final of this high standard so early.
Yes, I agree with that, Mike. We're similar to the second semi-final, but there wasn't the scoring that there is in this game. There's the bounce now. Jones and McCullough once again. No one gets the kick. A big pack of players. Bartlett's in there. Bundle away from the ball. A free kick has been called to Bartlett on this occasion. He plays on. He's shepherded off by Francis Berg. It goes up towards Royce Hart. Royce Hart misses the kick. A big pack of players there. Desperation shown. Coming hand passes across to Richardson, who is forced to hand pass virtually to nobody to an open goal. He was hoping to find Ricky McLean, but Ricky McLean had come out to help him, and so the ball ran through for a point. There's the score now. Carlton 9-4, 13 shots to 11 by Richmond. Richmond have a 17-point deficit as Jeff Southby kicks out a little bit high, but still 65 yards as McCullough almost gets the mark. There's the man of the moment. Barry Armstrong going once again on his left foot, picks out Sid Jackson, who takes the mark coolly under pressure there. Goes wide to the flank and he'll find Robert Walls here. Robert Walls has got the run in on Hunt. Runs around everybody there. Comes in now towards goal. Oh! Whoa, baby. Was that a goal? Right from the boundary line. A direct contrast to his last effort against Richmond when he played well but kicked very badly. It's his second goal. And Richmond have got some thinking to do now. They've got a centre-half forward who's kicked 2 goals and a forward pocket who's kicked 3.
Ron, in the second quarter, within 3 minutes and 20 seconds, 3 goals have been scored. Bobby Skilton, a freak game.
Well, that couldn't even describe it, Mike. This football at the moment is absolutely marvellous. It was great play then by Jackson. From the bounce again, it's Jones who once again beats McCullough for the knock with Francis Burke. His kick smothered. It comes back to Burke once again. He breaks out of the centre with a long kick. Almost finds Neil Barham. He's bustled out of the side. A long hand punch by Southby goes through. Armstrong knocks it on towards Hall. There's players going everywhere at the moment as Hurst of Carlton comes out, breaks onto his left foot, puts a short one in, finds Dixon. Dixon about to hand pass, but plays on with a kick down to centre half forward. It's Chandler who knocks the ball on past Walsh. It's Walls coming in once again. He grabs the ball, puts the ball onto the left foot. It's swinging back towards the goals, and once again Walls has put it through. And that's Walls' second in a matter of about 30 seconds, maybe a little bit longer, and his third so far in the game.
4.5 minutes into the second quarter, and 4 goals have been scored. 1 to Richmond and 3 to Carlton.
Carlton 11-4. Richmond 6 goals 5, and there they are, the Brains Trust. Tommy Hafey, you can see from the look on their faces. Tommy Hafey obviously not happy. Umpire Bill Dalla walking past Francis Burke, who's trying to urge the Richmond boys on. And they need a lift at the moment. As again, it's Jones and McCullough. A big knock from McCullough. Knocked on by Morris. Dool knocks the ball away from Hart. It comes back to Morris. He bursts straight down the ground. Puts the ball down towards the goal square. It's McLean and Southby, but a great mark in defence. Taken by Southby. He plays on quickly, running around the outer flank. He's bounced the ball twice. Puts the left foot down towards the centre wing position. Jones is up high. Comes through now. It's Waite who bursts through the pack. Breaks away for Carlton. Looking for Robert Walls. Walls is up high, and it's Walls almost takes the mark. Plays on, dives on the ball. There's a pack for him, but Keogh comes out with the ball. Keogh runs around and drives it towards the big one, and it's another one to Carlton. Keogh's second. John Nichols in the screen now. You can see the elation on his face. He's yelling at Kevin Sheedy, but Sheedy's not wanting to look back as Carlton go to 12 goals 4. Hey. Richmond 6 goals 5, and what a quarter.
Carlton have kicked 4 goals in 3.5 minutes. How is that?
It's not bad, Mike, seeing Richmond kick one as well in that same time. This is fantastic football. And the crowd, you can hear them roaring. They're really going at this, and even though it's not an even game at this stage, but it's so exciting to see the brand of football being displayed at the moment.
It's incredible, and you're watching it through the Channel 7 network. at the MCG. Della bounces the ball. Up goes Jones. Taken there and kicked forward by Gallagher. It's at centre half forward for the Blues. Hunt knocks the ball away. Jesselenko manhandled, but he picks the ball up. A hurried kick. He couldn't do much else about it. Taken by Kevin Bartlett of Richmond. Bartlett now to the wing position. McMillan throws himself at the ball. Well played. Over to Royce Hart. Here's trouble for the Blues. Look at Hart go. A hand pass to Francis Burke. Burke a long kick down forward. Balmer's there. It's his. Beautiful. Beautiful Neil Balme. A great mark. And Balme has already kicked one. He would be 35 yards out directly in front. Kicking to the Richmond end. Richmond need this one. Balme kicks. It's swinging. But it's there. And Richmond reply at the 7-minute mark into the second quarter.
What a game.
Mike, Richmond have moved Graham Bond to the back pocket. Kevin Sheedy's gone towards the centre of the ground, exactly where Sheedy is going to play. It'll be hard to see at the moment. The board reading, Carlton 12 goals 4, Richmond 7 goals 5. There's Bond down in the back pocket now with Trevor Keogh. Sheedy is now back in the centre of the ground. Bond coming from the centre wing position. Possibly Sproul will go to the wing. Sheedy to the centre. It's just hard to say at the moment just what move Tommy Hafey has made. But
Bobby, in the second quarter, 6 goals have been scored in 7 minutes. 4 to Carlton and 2 to Richmond.
Champagne football, Mike, as Robert Walls is there. He gets bustled aside. It's taken by Sheedy. Sheedy can't get clear, but it's a free kick to Kevin Sheedy. Sheedy at centre half back at the moment. A shocking kick by Sheedy. Goes into the centre of the ground. Hurst of Carlton comes away with the ball. He breaks clear of McMillan. Drives Carlton out of trouble as he goes wide to the half forward flank. Looking for Jesselenko. Jackson knocks the ball back. It's Highwood and Jackson in the race for the ball. Jackson falls at the crucial stage and the ball knocked over the line, and we'll find a throw in on the Carlton half forward line outer side of the ground. 4 goals 5 separating the two sides at the moment, as it's John Nichols there in the ruck. He gets a knockdown of Sheedy, but it's sharp by Kevin Bartlett. He gets a kick wide to the half-back flank. It's close to the line as Dixon comes through. Can't gain possession of the ball, and it beats everybody over the line, and we'll find another throw in. Ruckman getting ready. John Nichols going for the ball with McCullough. It's Nichols in front. McCullough gets a knock. It's knocked on by Jackson. Armstrong of Carlton comes through, takes possession of the ball, hooks the ball back. There's a pack of players forming, waiting for it to come down as McCullough was up high, knocks it close to the boundary line. Keogh's there, but the ball beats everybody over the line once again. Again contesting the knock, it's the same players, McCullough and Nichols. Nichols gets a knock, but it's taken by Kevin Bartlett. He can't get the ball clear. Highwood of Richmond has it. He again can't get it out as Gallagher comes in, puts the ball back down towards the goal square, and Jesselenko! What a wonderful mark on that occasion. Completely out of position, threw himself at the ball and took that one. Jesselenko has kicked 3. 2 goals to Jesselenko. Going for his third. Jesselenko only 25 yards out. The kick close to the goals, but it's again 4 points as Carlton really have a run on. They go to 13 goals 4 as Jesselenko kicks his third. Richmond 7 goals 5.
10 minutes into the second quarter. Ron Barassi, I'm beginning to wonder whether I'm having a dream.
Well, it's certainly a dream that for Carlton supporters coming true, because they're playing superb football, and everything that they planned during the week in the way of tactical moves and talking to players and getting them really going in hard is coming off, as we see the centre bounce on there. Jones goes. He's been a dominant ruckman in this quarter, but there was some shepherding there against Francis Burke, I think by Ian Robertson, the man on his mark, as Burke takes the free kick now. Will drive his throw. That's indicative of how Richmond are going. Even Burke is not playing well. Paul Sproul couldn't take the mark, as we'll see Vin Waite on the half-back flank goes for one of his long hand passes out to the man of the moment, as I said before, Barry Armstrong. His left foot goes up toward Walls. A beautiful hand pass from Walls across to Peter Jones. Carlton advance once again, and it could be a mark here. This time by Boynich. He read the play well on that occasion, used his pace and dashed out to intercept that drive. There's his kick now out to the half-back flank as Paul Hurst flies high, couldn't take it. But Francis Burke does. He's the one hope that Richmond have at the moment. He's really playing well as he sets his kick into motion. Well down towards the centre half forward position, but David McKay flies, couldn't take it. It's knocked across by Morris across to Kevin Sheedy. Goes for the wide one. Offside. And there's the first point for some time. And that's, as I said before, indicative of how things are going for the Richmond side. Nothing they try, not that they've had an opportunity to try very much over the past few moments, is coming off. And Southey with the kick now. Out, a beautiful kick, a good 70 yards, up to McKellar. McKellar has the ball, punts away by Jones. Goes to Sheedy. Sheedy, being clever, is forced a handball under pressure. Out to Kevin Bartlett. He's got a lot of kicks, Kevin Bartlett. His kick, this one goes up towards the pocket, where we see McKay punching the ball away from Barn. Barry Richardson scruffs the kick along. He's got the ball now, has it, hand passed away, taken by Cumming, but his kick goes offline also, under pressure, and out of bounds on the full, taken once again by Jeff Southby.
Southby from the back pocket on the outer side of the ground, about to take his kick. It's another good kick. Oh, he's kicking magnificently. I don't know about whether he should be using a drop kick or a punt kick, but the punt kick he's using is travelling 1 mile. Here's Bartlett now of Richmond. Richmond struggling to get back into the game. It's a high one. It's floating over the boundary line. That'll be Carlton's kick, or maybe a free kick on Neil Baum. A free to Baum. Baum of Richmond now. His kick goes right across the face of goals. They go for it. It's forced through for one behind to the Tigers. We are almost 13 minutes into the second quarter, and the scoreboard reads Carlton 13-4 to Richmond 7-7. We're not even halfway through the game, and there's a game score actually on the board at this stage. Southby now kicks almost to the wing position on that outer side of the ground. A chance for Sproul, but he's tackled there by Armstrong. Armstrong comes out with the ball, a long hand pass. Here's Jackson. Jackson gets around Francis Burke. Jackson now on the wing position on the outer side of the ground. His kick goes to Dixon. There's Walls looking for it. It goes towards him now. Jesselenko! It came from nowhere. Wayne Walsh, you could see the puzzled look on his face. Jesselenko's kick 3. He would be 60 yards out, directly in front. It's on the way. It'll get the distance. No, it'll drop short. There they go. Richmond defenders, but it's Walls. Walls gets it out towards Jackson, but the ball goes over the boundary line in the forward pocket for Carlton on the men to stand side. The throw in. There's Big Nick. McKellar goes up behind him, but Nick, around the neck. Gallagher. Well, Richmond really rattled. Players wondering what they can do to lift themselves. And Gallagher is no more than 20 yards out. You can say directly in front. You can see the angle. It's on the way, and it's right through. And at the 14.5-minute mark in the second quarter, Bobby, I'd say conservatively that Carlton have a grip on this game.
Yes, Mike, but let's face it, whatever Carlton can do, Richmond's attitude after half-time could possibly be the same. They've still got 15 minutes of this quarter to recover in, and the way Carlton are playing at the moment, this is the quarter where Richmond are really in trouble because they've got to come back, and the way Carlton are playing, well, anything could happen. As again, it's Jones who beats McKellar. The knock, it's taken by Jackson. Jackson's kicks a wobbly old one. Walsh comes through and takes a timely mark in defence for the Tigers. Wayne Walsh. Roger Dean having plenty of work to do as runner for the Richmond side. As a nice kick by Walsh goes straight down the ground. The pack fly. Nobody can take the markers. Waite comes out. He bursts away from defence. Drives the ball down to the half-forward flank. But it's Bond of Richmond who takes the mark. Plays on quickly. Drives the ball right over the half-forward line. Barry Richardson's there. And a good, courageous mark is taken by Barry Richardson, who was under a lot of pressure then, but stood his ground firmly and showed just how much courage that particular player has.
Very gutsy.
50 yards out, directly in front. A kick that really matters.
It's there.
Like the player he is, Richardson's pulled through to bring up his second goal. A great goal for the Richmond side. A badly needed goal, and that would be the understatement of the year, I'd say. As Carlton 14 goals for, lead Richmond 8 goals 7. Richardson cool in the crisis on that occasion. It was a lovely kick, and one that I think will give the Richmond side much heart. Back in the centre, it's umpire Bill Della. McKellar back with a long run. Peter Jones coming across McKellar. Nullifies a lot of McKellar's work again as Robertson comes out with the ball. Hand passes across to Armstrong. Armstrong kicks the ball wide where we find Robert Walls. Robert Walls now has Barry Richardson on him after kicking that goal. Richardson's been moved down as Boyanich bursts away, knocks the ball on in front of him, throws it out again. Fumbles it though as it's recovered by Hall. Hall's hand pass is taken by Kevin Sheedy. Sheedy breaks away from the half-back line, looking for McMillan. McMillan's up high, has the ball knocked away by Hurst. It comes back again. He's under pressure, gets a hand pass to Robertson. Robertson a hand pass across to Armstrong. Armstrong getting many kicks. This time looks across. Almost a great mark by Sproul. He recovered quickly, puts it out wide on the half-forward flank. It's Dool and Hart. Dool leads Hart in the race for the ball, knocks the ball away, should get a free kick. Umpire Dalla agrees on this occasion. The Richmond crowd not very happy, but it was easily a free kick to Bruce Dool as he plays on into the centre of the ground and finds Chandler. Chandler plays on, almost caught by Francis Burke, but got around Burke. Drives the ball down to half-forward. It's Richardson and Walls. It's knocked away. Highwood's taken down to the ground. It'll be Steve Highwood, the half-back flanker for Richmond, who'll take the free kick. Highwood, originally coming to Melbourne to do his national service. Broken Hill boy. Steve Highwood. Highwood's kick, it's a drop punt. He's going straight in towards the centre of the ground, looking for Rex Hunt now on the half-forward line, and Hunt takes a good mark. A 15-yard penalty will be incurred on this occasion, as umpire Dalla indicates a very, very long 15-yard penalty, but it was probably worthy of that penalty, as Hunt, a lovely kick by Hunt, it's right down towards the teeth of goal. A pack flying, it's knocked away and taken by Royce Hart. He's playing on close to the boundary line. He can't get clear, he's under pressure by Dool. It's called play on as Waite breaks away, puts a high kick down towards the half-back line. It's Dixon there with Sproul. Sproul knocks the ball on towards Kevin Morris. Morris balks around. Balks that opponent, does it again, runs around, gets his kick, it's right down towards the goal square, and a great mark there, taken by Ricky McLean. McLean has kicked one, lining up for one. Now statistician already assuming that McLean is going to put this one through. McLean right on the teeth of goal. The kick right through the centre. Ricky McLean's first. Carlton's ninth. No, Richmond's ninth, I should say. Tommy Hafey. Carlton 14-4, leading Richmond 9-7. 4 goals, 3 separating the two sides.
19 minutes into the second quarter and 10 goals have been kicked in this. Gee, Bob, it's an amazing game.
We thought 13 was a lot in the first quarter, Mike. We're not quite 20 minutes. There's no reason why there can't be another 13 in this quarter. And what a remarkable game. I'm sure that nobody at all would have assumed a score like this at half-time of this particular game. As Jones this time dominating the ruckwork, knocks it wide to Sproul. Sproul playing on, should be holding the man. Jackson's after the ball, under pressure at the moment, but there's no matter for this one, as the free kick has been paid to Paul Sproul. Sproul commenced in the centre, but Tommy Hafey had to make some moves. He's moved Sproul to the wing, Sheedy to the centre. Sproul's kick goes in towards half-forward. Almost a good mark to Chandler. It comes through to Dool. He gets his foot to the ball. It goes straight to Adrian Gallagher. He goes straight up the centre of the ground. It's Richardson in front of Walls. Walls knocks the ball on. Goes on again. A great effort by Walls. Called play on. It's Burke who gets the ball out, but it goes straight to Gallagher. He spills the mark. Hunt knocks the ball on from Richmond. There's a pack of players forming as McMillan comes down the ground. He's on there with Chandler. There's a pack again, but McMillan comes out with the ball. Can't get it clear. And umpire Dalla has nothing else he can do but bounce the ball. It's at the centre half forward position for Richmond, with Richmond going to the Jollymont end of the ground. Jones again gets a knock. It's taken by Dixon. He tries to burst through the pack, gets a hand pass in. Burke of Richmond gets a foot quickly to the ball. Sheedy's there, throws the ball out in front. Should be holding the man. Agreed by umpire Dalla. Sheedy plays on quickly. His kicks off the side of the boot towards the pocket, and it's David Mackay of Carlton who takes the mark. David Mackay, permanent back pocket so far today. Mackay's kick, it's a high one. A 15-yard penalty being paid against Ricky McLean for running over the mark.
Well, Bobby, they told me that yesterday in Melbourne they were asking and getting $30 for standing room at the MCG. And I'll tell you, if you paid $30 or $50, you're getting your money's worth. And of course, those people sitting at home watching it throughout Australia on the Channel 7 network must be saying, well, we've got all the comforts of home and watching a great grand final. The 72 grand final as the mark is taken by Dixon on the wing position on the outer side of the ground. Dixon now up to the half-forward flank. Carlton kicking up to the scoreboard end. Walls knocks the ball away. Sheedy doesn't mess around. He kicks it and runs into one. He and Keogh have been having a go at each other right through the game. It's up towards centre half-forward. Kevin Hall, a beauty. Kevin Hall, a veteran, a great grand finals player. Remember him 2 years ago against Collingwood. Fantastic game. Hall now right up into the forward zone. It's gone through. Boyanich and Nichols went up for it. Neither touched it. And it's a goal to Kevin Hall.
Did you see Nichols then, Mike? It was a wonderful... He didn't actually shepherd. He just made sure that he knocked Boyanich's hands away so that he couldn't touch the ball.
Are you suggesting the Big Nick knows a few tricks?
I think he might, yes. After about 18 years, he's certainly showing them today. It's almost, you could call that almost a Nichols goal.
22 and a half minutes into the second quarter. 15-4. Carlton, Richmond 9-7. Taken by Hurst. Hurst of Carlton now up forward. Jesselenko's backing back there with play, and Jesselenko's one out. He's kicked 3. And Jesselenko is 30 yards out, directly in front. The Worm. It's on its way, but I think he's missed this one. No, he hasn't. No, it's swung back. Well, you can see Boyanich looking at the goal umpire saying he thought it was a point. It seemed to be going to the left-hand side, but he must have allowed for his slice, and it came back and right through for another major. That's his fourth, and Carlton go to 16-4. 100. They've got the ton up to Richmond 9-7-61, and we are 23 and a half minutes. 23 and a half minutes into the second quarter, and there's some gay in the crowd trying to hang on to the ball. Why they don't stay home and play with their dolls is beyond me, those idiots. There's Tommy Hafey chewing the fingernails, as well he might. What can he do, Ron Barassi?
Well, he's tried a few moves, Mike. I think he's done all he can for the time being, and perhaps he best just send a message round to play tight and hold on till half-time and then have a real session. There's Jones, who's been a tremendous ruckman in this particular quarter. McCullough's gone right at the game. Hunt gets the kick up towards Hart, but in front there was Bruce Toole, who's virtually beaten Hunt pointless in this half. Hart, I mean, pointless in this half. There's Doole's kick up towards the opposition centre-half forward, and it's Hunt back down at centre-half back there at the moment. I don't think he's been put to the centre-half back position, but he's certainly down there at the moment, possibly having a run in the ruck. A 15-yard penalty being applied against Robert Walls here. I'm not quite sure why, but Hunt's not asking. He's going to take the kick now. And a long kick of 70, 75 yards at least. A great pack of players flies. Nobody's going to get this. It's going to go towards the boundary line. Barham punches the ball back into play. Good play by Neil Barham, but Neil Chandler handballing across to Ian Robertson. Forced to go to the left foot, but now has the chance to bounce and recover onto the right. Controls out wide. They're using this space beautifully, Carlton, at the moment. Walls is having a picnic with the space that he's being allowed to play in. He passes back to Ian Robertson, who balks around, goes for the kick again out wide. They're using MCG spaces very well. They're showing Richmond how to use the spaces, whereas normally it's Richmond dictating the tune in this respect. Adrian Gallagher now with the ball, well out in the pocket, a good 60 yards from goal, goes well towards the pocket. On this occasion, John Nichols couldn't take the mark. A bit harder to have gained that. It would have been a great mark to have done it, but he wasn't quite there at the right moment and through for 1 point, making 101-61, a 40-point advantage to the Carlton side.
25 and a half minutes into the second quarter, and Carlton are 40 points in front of Richmond. And Ron Barassi, this takes me back 2 years when Collingwood had Carlton in a pretty similar position as Hurst puts the ball forward. Nichols there was held onto. Through comes Jesselenko, loses the run of the ball, but he's into it. Big Nick dives there. And what's going to happen? Highwood's free kick. Do you remember that? How can you ever forget it? 2 years ago to this very day, and you were something like 43 points down at half-time, Ron.
That's right, Mike. Well, this time it's going to be Carlton going in with a lead similar to that. Here we see Sproul breaking out their ball, goes for the drop kick, an underground subterranean one as Bruce Toole again looks like beating Hart. He's got tremendous balance, this player. Hand passes away. A poor one on that occasion. Goes towards Waite. Sproul knocked around the head. Hand passes across to Cumming, but Cumming couldn't take advantage of it. And coming through there was Dill, but a free kick has been called and given to Paul Sproul, who's given quite a lot of value this half. One of the few Richmond players to at least break even and give some value to his side. His kick goes up towards the pocket. The ball comes to ground. Again, Dill gets it. Quickly ball handles the ball onto his foot, but it's intercepted there by Cumming, and he will have a shot at goal from well out in the pocket. It's going high to the square. Ricky McLean will need to fly high here, but a mark almost taken there by Richmond. Bartlett with the ball now, has a chance, but fumbling. Steps over, in come Paul Hurst, knocks the ball to Vin Waite. Hand pass across to, grabbed by the leg there. The scruffy old kick by Keogh was taken by Burke. Burke to Walsh. Walsh forced the Keogh under pressure. Beautifully intercepted by Southby, taking the wrist on the first bounce. Up towards centre-half forward, but this occasion, Barry Richardson, originally placed and starting at half-forward flank, now centre-half back, takes the kick.
Richardson puts his boot into it. Over centre-half forward for the Tigers. The big men fly. No mark, however. Now look at this. Mackay kicks it off the ground. But here's Cumming over to Morris. Morris breaks clear. He straightens up. He kicks. One behind. Ronnie, getting back to that memorable clash 2 years ago when you were coaching Carlton. Although you were some 40-odd points down at half-time, you came out and won the premiership.
Well, that's correct, Mike, and it'll be interesting to see just what moves Tommy will make. He's made a lot already, but an attitude change is needed by the Richmond side, I feel.
Southby's kick goes to the half-back flank on the outer side. The ball taken there by Morris. Morris down towards the goal square. Southby flies up high. McLean goes over. Through they come. It's Southby sticking to his guns. Bartlett tackling him. Bartlett comes out on top. He's tackled by O'Connell. He gets around Bartlett. Bartlett steadies. He kicks down forward. A chance here for Baum. He couldn't get to it, though, and through for another behind to the Tigers. Now, you can see Neil Baum shake his head as if to say, oh, hell, what can we do? Carlton 16-5 to Richmond 9-9. And we are 28 and a half minutes into the second quarter. Bob Skilton.
13 goals kicked in the first quarter, 12 goals so far in this quarter, and what a game this has been as Southby goes to the outer side of the ground. Free kick has been paid, and it's big Percy Jones. Jones, given the mantle of first ruck today, has been a wonderful player for the Carlton side as his kick, looking for Robert Walls, another great player so far, has the ball punched away by Richardson. It's taken by McKellar. McKellar goes through and straight down the centre of the ground. It's McLean. He passes the ball, punched away. It comes towards McMillan. McMillan bursts through. Can't quite get possession of the ball. Comes back again. Knocks the ball out in front of him. Sproul's coming through around the ground. Steadies up. Goes for the open goals. A great goal by Paul Sproul. Sproul's first. And Ron Barassi mentioned earlier, Sproul has been one of Richmond's few consistent players. He's now playing on the wing with Kevin Sheedy going in the centre, but it wasn't a move that Sproul had to be shifted out of the centre. Board reading, Richmond 10 goals 9, trailing Carlton 16 goals 5.
And we're not even at half-time. 26 goals have been kicked. We're 29 and a half minutes into the second quarter.
It's McKellar and Jones. It's taken by Robertson of Carlton. His left foot goes long and wide. All on his own as Robert Walls. He spills the mark. It's knocked away. It's Jesselenko though. Jezza goes in towards the big ones. It's true. It's a goal to Carlton. And it's 14 goals scored in this quarter as Jesselenko kicks his 5th goal. Carlton 17 goals 5. A remarkable piece of kicking. 22 shots for 17 goals. Richmond 10 goals 9. Jesselenko's 5. John Nichols, although he's been quiet in this quarter, has been like a real general down there, indicating just what he wants from his whole side. Umpire Della. Jones and McKellar. Jones this time gets it to Gallagher. Gallagher with the right foot goes straight up the centre of the ground. It's Walls and Richardson. Neither player can mark. Chandler bursts through the pack, knocks the ball out to Jackson. Jackson comes down, does a blind turn, comes around, puts it down to the square, but it's Boyan. It's well out in front of Nichols. Boyan plays on quickly, bursting away, drives the ball to Sproul, and fortunately for the Richmond side, Sproul takes a mark. He plays on quickly, goes straight through the centre of the ground with a lovely drop kick down to centre half forward. Hunt was up high. It's the bounce beat McMillan. It came back to Hurst. Hurst goes wide, looking for Dixon. It's going straight across the ground. Dixon leading Sproul in the race for the ball. Balks back. There's 3 Richmond players, but a long hand pass finds Kevin Hall all on his own. He has plenty of time to steady up drive the ball right down, looking for Nichols. Nichols is down there, he's up high, and Nichols has taken the mark. He's kicked 3. He's kicked 3. He's only 15 yards out from goal on a fairly acute angle, but nowhere near as acute as one of the goals that he kicked early in the first quarter. There's been 14 goals already kicked in this quarter. Nichols has the opportunity of making it 15. As he does, kicks truly, the goal umpire did not move. Both hands went up, and that's Carlton's 18th goal. John Nichols 4th. Carlton 18 goals 5, Richmond 10 goals 9.
Well, Carlton have never beaten Richmond in a finals match in 52 years. But by the living Harry, they're well on their way here today, aren't they?
I'll say they are, Mike. They're playing superb football. They're using the space of this tremendously big ground extremely well. Obviously, as I said many times during the telecast already, they've planned this game beautifully. There's a knockdown taken by Richmond, taken once again by Barry Armstrong. He goes wide. This is what Carlton are doing, using the spaces. Keogh with a classy display there, whips away, 1 bounce, 2 bounces, goes for goal now, and it looks like sailing through. No, it's just drifted away. Well, that's broken the ice for Carlton. They've kicked 18 goals 5 until this stage, and now they have a lead over Richmond of 45 points.
Unbelievable. And we are 32.5 minutes. Gee, they're long quarters in the 72 grand final, waiting for Dick Clay to kick out. 2's on Richmond were yesterday with the betting boys. 2's on. Up goes Kevin Hall in the centre there. Couldn't quite take it. Taken by Morris. Morris down towards centre half forward. Rex Hunter's there. Knocked away there by Vin Waite. He loses possession of it, but he's getting a free, and Royce Hart says, oh no. Waite's hurt. I hope it's not his ankle gone. He's calling for the trainer as Dool kicks to the wing position on the outer side of the ground, and the mark is taken there by Gallagher. Gallagher of Carlton swings around. Oh, he's in real trouble, Vin Waite. The kick now to the half-forward flank for the Blues. There's Robert Walls. He'll be paid it. There's a siren, and Waite's in real trouble. Siren for half-time with the scoreboard at the MCG reading Carlton 18-6, 114, Richmond 10-9, 69. But it looks as if Walls is going to take his kick. He's going to take his kick. He's kicked 3. Now Walls would be a good 65 yards out. It's on its way. Let's see, it's going to drop short. So repeating for you the half-time scoreboard, Carlton 18-6, 114, Richmond 10-9, 69. Bill Della prepares to bounce the ball, starting the third quarter of the 1972 grand final. It's Carlton 18-6 to Richmond 10-9 as we open up the third quarter. And we notice that the triple Brownlow medalist Ian Stewart is on for Richmond. Ricky McLean, who started off at full forward, is off. For Carlton, Waite, who injured his ankle seconds before the half-time siren, is off. And Lucas is on. Changes in both teams. It's Carlton into attack. There's a long hand pass by Chandler. It goes over here towards Lucas, who's just come on. Lucas, a long kick down into the goal square. Nichols is behind. Couldn't quite take it. Nichols takes it now. 1 point. 1 point. Bobby Skilton, can you pick up any significant changes in the lineup for the Tigers?
Well, Ian Stewart is... no, it's Sheedy in the centre of the... still playing in the centre. Haven't quite been able to pick up where Stewart is playing at the moment. Half-forward flank with Kevin Hall picking up, replacing the injured Vin Waite as the ball's taken by Adrian Gallagher. Gallagher's kick goes high in towards centre half-forward. Walls is there, and Walls a great mark. He's been a great player all day today. Robert then putting in a little bit of an act, trying to get 15 yards. He's kicked 3 goals. And as was mentioned by Ron Barassi, probably the most instrumental player on the ground as far as Carlton's score on the board is concerned. As Walls' kick, it's off the side of the boot, it's close to the boundary line, it may be out on the full, but yes, just out as young Lucas took that mark. A 15-yard penalty being paid against Lucas for not throwing the ball back on the full. John Nichols coming back, indicating that I would say that the ball would have been out of bounds anyway. But nevertheless, umpire Bill Della's in control, and the kick will be taken by Wayne Walsh. Walsh's kick, a shocking kick by Walsh, but a 15-yard penalty paid against John Nichols for running over the mark. Umpire Della I think at this stage indicating that he is not going to let control of this game slip away from him.
Doing a great job.
A very good job, Mike, but it's been I would say, a good game for an umpire to control. The way that both sides have played is a lovely kick this time by Walsh, but it's Jones who's up high. Another one of Carlton's great players today. Jones has really taken the position of number one ruckman. Grabbed it with both hands. He's rucked all the first half as Jones' kick goes in towards centre half forward. Jackson comes out, but Jackson's mark has been paid. Sid Jackson. Jackson goes for the drop punt. It's a high kick. It's down towards the teeth of goal. Nichols is up high from behind. Couldn't take the mark. Keogh comes through, breaks away. Gets a kick towards goals. But unfortunately it bounces away from the big ones and 1 point only results. Trevor Keogh, a very active player for the Carlton side. Well, for that matter, what Carlton player has not been so far? Carlton 18 goals, 8. Richmond 10 goals, 9. 8 goals, less a point, separating the two sides as Dick Clay puts the ball to the outer side of the ground. Robertson well up before acceptances, would have given away a free kick anyway. Richmond being penalised on this occasion as umpire Dallard brings the ball back to give the free kick to Francis Burke. The free kick was there, naturally, but I would have been inclined to think that Dallard would have let the play go on with Richmond being in complete control of the ball.
Hunter's gone to full forward for the Tigers.
Burke, as soon as he grabs the ball, runs straight across the half-back line. A long drop kick by Francis Burke down to centre half forward. It's Royce Hart. Hart's who has been fairly quiet so far in this game. Well held by Bruce Dool. Hart's kick, it's a lovely kick right down towards the goal square. It's Baum in front, and a great mark by Neil Baum. Baum's right on the teeth of goal virtually, only a couple of yards out from the line. He's kicked 2. A handy forward pocket play for his side. Neil Baum directly in front, only 12 yards out. It's right through. That's Baum's third. The two forward pocket players, Baum at one end, kicked 3 goals. Nichols at the other 4. Both players so far being permanent forward pockets.
And we're 4.5 minutes coming up into the third quarter of the 1972 grand final. There's Neil Baum. David Mackay watching him. Can Richmond get back into this game? They started 2s on favourites for the 72 flag. But Carlton's first half showed that there's no such thing as a good thing in football. There's another ball being brought out. That's the third ball that's been used here at the MCG. Bill Dalla in control. Getting overcast here in Melbourne as Jones goes up, taps it down, but it's sharp by Sproul. His kick up towards centre half forward. Hart from behind knocks it away. It's taken by Kevin Hall. He runs into McMillan. Hurst gets it over there to Armstrong. His kick is smothered. Through comes Hall. Sproul across towards the triple Brownlow medalist Ian Stewart. He trips. And he'll get a free. A free to Ian Stewart. He's almost at centre half forward. Watch this fellow place a ball. There it goes into the forward zone for the Tigers. The ball knocked away, but it's taken by Hart. Hart pushes the ball across to Baum. Baum picks it up now and from the pocket blazes away. One behind. Ronnie, anything can happen in the game of football. But right at this stage, you'd have to be enormously optimistic to see Richmond taking out the flag.
That's true, Mike, but they've had 21 shots in a half and they're capable of scoring very quickly, so it's not a unassailable lead as you would automatically think from the 7-goal lead, but they're playing well still, Carlton.
Southby kicks out. It goes to the half-back flank on the member side of the ground. Taken there by Sproul. His kick is a short one. Intercepted by Dixon. Dixon of Carlton tries to kick it in towards the centre. Here's a go. Burke in front, but Highwood rather in front. But coming through there was Robert Walls to shark it from him. Walls takes the run. Kicks down towards Jesselenko. Jesselenko and Dick Clay. Look at them hugging each other. Through comes Nichols. Nichols a long hand pass across here towards Lucas. Lucas into trouble. Jackson off the ground. Hit the post. Good effort. Wayne Walsh limping there. Obviously his knee. As we wait once again for Clay to kick out. Yes, Bobby.
You mentioned Walsh, so Graham Bodden was also in a bit of trouble there, walking around behind the goals, Mike. As Dick Clay kicks in, he goes to the outer side of the ground, looking for Francis Burke out there. It's punched away from Burke, but a free kick has been paid as Ian Robertson was nudging Burke in the middle of the back. Francis Burke, as usual, a good player, one of Richmond's few on today's game. He drives the ball into the centre of the ground. There's a pack forming as it's knocked away. Through comes Morris of Richmond. His high kick goes down to the half-forward line. Southby leads well out, but it's taken by Sproul. A long hand pass looking for Neil Baum. The bounce favours Baum. He hooks the ball. He tries to hook the ball back. But good play by O'Connell. Put so much pressure on Neil Baum then that his kick went straight off the boot, out of bounds on the full. And we find Jeff Southby waiting for the ball to come back to him.
Carlton very often described throughout the 72 season as a dedicated professional team, and they're certainly displaying that here at the MCG today. Carlton 18-9 to Richmond 11-10.
I think the crowd have decided that they've got another ball, Mike.
Oh, there's some geese around, aren't there? They interrupt the whole flow of play doing that sort of thing. I suppose small things amuse small minds. There's a fourth football to be used coming out now. And then this dense crowd, I guess it would be impossible to work out who's actually got the ball.
There must be people around the person who's got it, Mike. They're as much to blame when you think about it too.
Too true, Ronnie. Well, a new ball eventually. And it's Dixon with it. Dixon in the back pocket. Kicks out towards the half-back flank. Players move in for it there. Baum goes up. Couldn't take it. Taken by Armstrong. Armstrong's kick was almost intercepted there by Francis Burke. Through comes Robertson. Couldn't get it. Armstrong picks up. Armstrong down towards centre half forward. Richardson backing back. Just couldn't hold the mark. And through they come. There's Bond. He's grabbed by Jesselenko. The ball is knocked away. They're scrambling for it. It's called play on by Della. Della's giving the players every opportunity to make their own breaks. Very sound umpiring. Bounce at centre half forward for Carlton. Nichols comes in too late. Jackson's there, pushes the ball out, taken by Keogh. Keogh manoeuvres around, a left footer going down forward. Here's a go. Wolves! Oh, blimey, how did he get that? He's kicked 3. He was 1,000,000 to 1 to even get near it.
Fantastic mark, Mike.
Oh, and he's only, what, 5 yards out. He's on an angle, but he shouldn't miss it. Carlton well on the way to breaking the grand final record score. As Walls kicks through, and at the 9.5-minute mark into the third quarter, Jesselenko giving Walls some encouragement. Carlton are 19-9, 123. Richmond 11-10, 76. Incidentally, the record score for a grand final was created by Essendon in 1946 when they beat Melbourne 22-18. Was it, Ron?
That's correct, Michael.
22-18. Well, we've got a long way to go in this game now. And Carlton are 19-9. Back in the centre, it's umpire Bill Della bouncing the ball. The players set themselves. Jones goes up there, but Stewart goes for the knock too. Taken by Dixon. Dixon, a long hand pass. It's intercepted by Walsh. Walsh of Richmond kicks it right into the forward zone. Hunt has the chance. Drops the ball. Couldn't get his boot to it cleanly. They're fumbling. Baum off the ground. Puts it through. That's his 4th. His 2nd in this quarter. He's the only goal kicker for Richmond in this quarter. And Richmond look a little bit healthier at the 10.5-minute mark. Ron Barassi, let's hear a comment from you.
Well, that's possibly the only move for Carlton which they made pre-game in their plan that hasn't quite come off, because Neil Baum has kicked 4 goals in the pocket against David McKay, but the rest of the team's done the job so well it hasn't really mattered. There's Sproul roving very well at the centre bounce. He gets his kick under pressure up towards Royce Hart. He's another player who... It's called play on. Well, that's an amazing one. It could have been touched near the kick. That's the only explanation I feel for that one. However, the play goes on as a free kick is given to Kevin Morris. He's been one of the few good Richmond players today, and he's got the kick now. A good 75 yards from goal. We'll put the ball in the square. It's a good kick. Dropping a little bit short. Up there is David McKay. Oh. That is unbelievable. Fantastic mark by David McKay. One of the best high marks in the league. He got the ride and kept the ball as well. That was a classic mark and probably the mark of the day so far. Here's Jones and McKellar. Jones doing a McKellar on McKellar, punching the ball away. No attempt to mark, and Peter Jones has been a big force for the Carlton side today, playing disciplined football, marking and rucking superbly. Here's Jones and McKellar once again. That's Jones again gets the knockdown, but Sproul intercepts. Is tackled by Armstrong. Lucas, the 19th man coming in, gets his kick under pressure up to the half-forward flank, where Highwood and Jackson duel. A free kick almost to Dixon. Dixon taps the ball on to Jackson. Doesn't come off. Richardson gets the kick up towards the centre half-forward position where Royce Hart maybe is there. Could get a free kick.
Yes.
Well, he's one man who perhaps could pull Richmond out of the hole, but Bruce Still has got a firm hold of this player so far.
He'll kick this.
Well, he'll need to. This is a tremendous pressure kick for Royce Hart. He's 50 yards from goal, 45-degree angle. Will be a good kick to get this through. Coming in now. It looks pretty good. It's drifting in beautifully. That's a goal. It's a captain's goal. If they go on from here, they may well look back at that goal by Royce Hart, whom you see in the screen, and say that was the turning point in the match. But we'll soon know. There's the score, 19-9 to Richmond 13-10.
That's his first goal for the match, Royce Hart. Just repeating that Carlton have not beaten Richmond in a final series since 1920, 52 years ago. Can Richmond get back into it after looking hopeless at half-time? There's Jones now of Carlton. A long hand pass goes across to Robertson. Robertson of Carlton down towards the forward pocket on that outer side. And as you can probably realise from your screens, it's getting very overcast in Melbourne. I don't know whether it will rain, just having a look at the sky. Oh, it could. It could before the match is over. Nichols and McKellar go for the tap out. Nichols taps it down to Gallagher. Gallagher gets it around the neck. No doubt about that. Highwood's going crook. Well, you know where his neck is, son. And Gallagher would need a mighty kick to put this one through. He's a long way out. Have to kick it 60 yards. It's on its way. It's well offline. In fact, it's over the boundary line on the full in the forward pocket. And look at Gaggs. Not too happy with himself. Waiting for the ball to be returned. Bartlett will take the kick. Bartlett in the back pocket on the outer side of the ground, kicking from the Richmond end. It's on its way. Players move in for it there. Up they go. It's Richmond. Oh, Francis Burke just can't take his grabs cleanly. Picked up by Robertson. Over to Chandler. Chandler now breaking clear. Chandler down to the forward zone. The players fly. Keogh's in there. Nobody able to pick it up. Oh, Dixon. Yes, the kicking in danger rule. Umpire Bill Della demonstrating to Ray Boynage why he gave the free kick to Dixon. You saw it quite clearly. And the Richmond boys completely nonplussed at this stage. Dixon is 10 yards out, directly in front, kicking to the Richmond end. Oh, it's a shocker. He's put it out of bounds on the full. Oh, Bobby Skilton.
Well, Dixon kicked a glorious goal in the first quarter, Mike, from almost the same position, but that was a shocking kick by Dixon. Then as Walsh's kick goes well up the centre of the ground, Sheedy coming through over the top of the ball, can't get his hands out to it. Armstrong's there now, he can't gain possession, gets a push in the back, but it's called play on as Morris comes out with the ball for Richmond, drives it right over the centre of the ground. The bounce of the ball favours Richmond as Royce Hart leads Dool in the race for the ball. There's Hart there, gets a hand pass on, looking for Paul Sproul. Sproul's coming down, he's shepherded by Neil Baum. Sproul tries to hook the ball back, but unfortunately his kick goes straight over the boundary line on the full. Richmond just cannot take a trick. The ball coming back very quickly on this occasion. The wiser heads are prevailing down there at that moment. Jeff Southby now will put the ball back into play for the Carlton side. The ball travelling from one end of the ground to the other very quickly then for Richmond. As Southby's kick, it's a nice kick as usual. Goes down to the half-forward line. Jones is up high, couldn't take the mark. Gallagher grabs the ball, puts it back high over his shoulder. Sheedy there from behind. Almost a good mark by Sheedy. Could have nearly been paid. The ball's knocked over the boundary line and we'll find a throw in front of the members' stand on the half-forward flank for the Richmond side. It's McKellar and Jones. Jones gets a knock. It's taken by Armstrong. Armstrong gets a hand pass through to Gallagher. Gallagher hooks the ball back into the centre. All on his own as Robin Walls, the man of the match, you might say. Walls puts a short one into the centre of the ground. Finds Robertson. Robertson's there. He takes plenty of time. A glorious drop kick. Finds Nichols. John Nichols right down there. Lovely drop kick by Ian Robertson, perfectly positioned. Nichols has kicked 4. I would be amazed if he does not bring up his 5th.
He's a colossus.
He has played the full game so far in the forward pocket. Peter Jones doing all the ruck work as Nichols lines the ball up. No doubt in the world about it. There's his 5th. His 5th and Carlton's 20th. Carlton 20 goals 9, Richmond 13 goals 10. Almost 7 goals once again, as each time Richmond draw a little bit closer. Carlton at the moment seem to have that little bit to be able to come back. It was a great piece of play then. It was a team effort. The Wolves made position at centre half forward, put the ball across to Robinson, and he topped it off, getting it down to Nichols.
Coming up to 18 minutes into the third quarter. Barassi, take that smile from your face.
Why should I, Mike? Well, here's Paul Hurst coming through, couldn't gain the run of the ball. Royce Hart is there, he's under tremendous pressure though, forced to go to his right foot, gets the ball up towards the half-forward flank, going across the pocket and out of bounds in front of the new stand, favouring the Richmond right pocket. Throw-in will take place now. Neil Barn, David McKay. We haven't seen him contest very much in the ruck today. Adrian Gallagher comes through with the ball, under pressure, gets the hook kick over his shoulder, doesn't go far, but it gets out of danger. It may not even be 10 yards, but yes it is. It's designated 10 yards by the umpire, who paid the mark, so therefore that must be so. Here's O'Connell with the kick now. He'll take the chance to drive Richmond out of trouble. Armstrong with the kick from the pack. He's been a tremendous player today, Armstrong, and he's another player who's really killed them today. Robert Walls, he gets his kick over to Alex Zizelenko. Dick Clay slipped at the crucial moment, had no chance of recovering. And Alex Zizelenko will drive up to John Nichols with no doubt about this. It's a great kick. A big chance for Nichols here. Every time this duel is on, it's a tremendously interesting one because everyone's waiting to see how many goals Nichols can kick. Here's Lucas now, all on his own, picks out Sid Jackson. It's not looking good for Richmond now because
they're cutting them to pieces,
they are a bit, yes. Richmond seem to be panicking. They can't seem to take a trick and everything seems to be going against them. Here's Sid Jackson now, who's played quite a serviceable game so far. 20 yards out, slide angle, shouldn't miss this. Is not, right through the middle. And that's Carlton's 21st goal. They're getting closer to this record, which we spoke about before, of 22 goals, 18. They certainly must break that. And they're playing this game in a superb fashion. And the way Richmond is shaping up at the moment, you can't see them getting into a position of making a forcible comeback because they just haven't got enough players who are winning the ball. Here's the centre bounce now as we see McKellar, Jones once again, he'd been a fantastic ruckman, winning many centre duels, gets the knock. It's a huge pack of players. Kevin Sheedy's in there, he's been a hard battler, but to no avail. Out comes Armstrong once again. The ball bounces over Walls' head. Barry Richardson let the ball go through for Bond. He goes for one bounce. The long run up to the pocket. David McKay all on his own. Kevin Sheedy there, I think he realised he'd done the wrong thing and he went to apologise, just in case I think someone thought he might get reported. Kevin Sheedy's trying to stir up his side, I feel, using a Collingwood expression, stir up the stove, and it's just not working at this stage. McKay's kicked up towards Stuart, two of them to spoil it. Kevin Bartlett there with the ball, gets a free kick as we see him break away now onto the left foot. Up towards the goal square. Barn, McKay, a big pack of players. And it's Rex Hunt coming out with the ball. That's the second mark I think he's taken, Hunt. And this move to full forward will certainly be an improvement in the first half. He's taking the kick now. It's right to the middle. The kicking in this game has been tremendous. A great goal by Rex Hunt and one badly needed. Unfortunately for the Richmond side, every time they get a goal, the Carlton side answers almost immediately, so it's to no avail. So right now they've just scored one a moment ago. They'll need to go on with the job now and get 2 or 3 quick ones to give them the heart they need.
21.5 minutes into the third quarter of the 1972 grand final. Waiting for the ball to be returned to umpire Della. There's another one. That's the 5th ball, the 5th new ball.
No, it's back, Mike.
Well, they don't need the 5th new one. There's Tommy Hafey. You can see him there in the shirt. He's probably wondering what he can do. I'm darned if I could offer any suggestion, Ron, could you?
Not really, Mike. He just hasn't had any good players to move around very much. There's the bounce. Jones once again gets a knock. Taken by Keogh. Keogh shrunk to the ground. A free kick given to that player. A very valuable player today for his side. He goes wide to the flank where we see Walsh again away from his man. This time it's Lucas running through, but he's under pressure from Walsh, who had time because of the bad bounce to Lucas to catch up to that player and put him under pressure.
Throw in on the half-forward flank for Carlton on the outer side of the ground. Knock away there by Jones. Taken by Robertson. Robertson down towards the pocket. The bounce. Sid Jackson's after it, but in comes Ian Stewart. Stewart, the triple Brownlow medalist, kicks into the centre of the MCG. Through comes Dill, picked up by David Dixon of Carlton. Jackson couldn't hold the mark, however. Oh, could be around the neck for Highwood. I would reckon. And Highwood of Richmond tries a hand pass over to Bartlett. He could have put him into trouble. Bartlett just gets his kick. It's a beautiful one, though. Up to the half-forward flank on the outer side of the ground. Taken by Cumming. Cumming down forward. Balmer's there. Balmer dropped the mark. He'll try it off the ground. But Southby very cleverly knocks the ball through for a deliberate behind. Very cleverly. Carlton at 21-9, 135. Richmond 14-11, 95. 40 points of difference in favour of the Blues. Southby about to kick out from the scoreboard end. We're 23 and a half minutes into the third quarter of the 72 grand final. Hart's in there, but the ball is knocked away from him, however. Through they come. It's Stewart, tongue sticking out in characteristic fashion. Kicks to the forward pocket on the member stand side. Plenty of Richmond players there. Hart gets it across here towards Baum. Baum went off before the ball got to him. Here's a go for Bartlett. Bartlett from the pocket kicks. One behind. Richmond players striving desperately to pull this game out of the fire. This is the big one. The whole year down the drain if they don't win it. And of course the same for the Blues. Bobby, can you see any moves that Tommy Hafey may make?
Stewart into the centre, possibly.
What he hasn't tried, Mike, I think Stewart is in the centre at the moment, Ron. What he hasn't tried, I really don't know what else he could do, but this time there's a typical example when you find a wingman the size of David Dixon marking uncontested from a fullback's kickoff. Dixon goes further around the centre wing position looking for Walls. It comes through to Gallagher. Gallagher puts the ball high in towards centre half forward. Chandler from behind pulls in a screamer, but the mark has been taken off Chandler as he pushed Walsh in the back. Wayne Walsh's kick, not a particularly good one. It's a wobbly old kick. There's players everywhere around Royce Hart. Sproul runs into Bartlett. Bartlett swings the ball around, drives it down towards the goal square, looking for Rex Hunt, but there's Southby there with him. Southby knocks the ball on. Mackay takes the ball further across, gets Carlton out of trouble. It's a poor kick, but he's well backed up by his teammate in Jeff Southby. Southby's there over the ball, must get a free kick for holding the man. Jeff Southby, been a really good player. As we mentioned earlier, what Carlton player hasn't. Every player has done his job. The kick from Southby, it's a good kick, right into the centre of the ground. Jackson's almost a screamer up high over the pack. Armstrong, his kick smothered, it comes back to Keogh. Bartlett bursts through. Bartlett's been a good player this quarter for Richmond, trying to rally the side as Bartlett drives the ball down towards the goal square. Mackay was up high. It comes back towards Neil Baum. He walks onto the left foot, almost falls, gets a left foot to the ball. A great goal by Neil Baum. His fifth. Neil Baum has really done his job as far as Richmond are concerned. He's kicked five out of their 15 as they go to 15 goals, 12. Trailing Richmond now by 6 goals, or 5 goals, 3 really. Richmond.
26 minutes into the third quarter. Can it be done, Bob? Can Richmond win it?
It can be done, Mike, but the odds are still against it, but nevertheless, they are closer than they've been for a long, long while. As Jones gets another knockout, it goes towards Lucas. McMillan comes in. It's Hurst of Carlton who comes in. He runs away towards the goals, but it gets it wide. Gallagher's out there all on his own. He has plenty of time. He steadies play up for Carlton at the moment, running around the boundary line. Now drives the ball in, looking for big John Nichols at the back of the pack. Boyness was up high. It comes down to Jezelenko. A hand pass across to Keogh. He's under pressure, but it looks like another goal. As Keogh kicks a glorious goal. His third. Incredible. Trevor Keogh puts it right through the centre. Again, edge Carlton further ahead as far as the scoreboard is concerned. Carlton go to 22 goals, 9. Richmond 15 goals, 12. And we've spoken about the highest score in a grand final.
They're 10 points off it. Right?
9.
That's right, Mike. 9 points off equaling it.
Well, I'm not much good at arithmetic, Chimp, as you know.
I didn't think you were, as umpire Della again bounces the ball. Jones and McKellar still the two ruckmen there. They've been there all day as Stewart grabs the ball. Can't get his foot to it, though. It comes back to Stewart. He's held a bit high. There's a pack of players there. And Stewart, you could see him appealing to Bill Della for the free kick, but Della decides to bounce it once again. A shocking bounce by Della. Up high there, it was Morris. It's taken by Hurst. He's under a lot of trouble. Dool gets the ball. Dool's kick goes straight through the centre of the ground. McKellar and Highwood spoil each other as Gallagher takes the ball away. Hooks it back, but he finds Barry Richardson. Now it's centre half back for Richmond. When I say now, it was during the second quarter that Richardson went to centre half back. Richardson's kick, it's not a good kick. It goes straight to Adrian Gallagher. When I say not a good kick, it was a shocking kick. Coming away from defence, and Gallagher's left unattended. And now it's Armstrong who's unattended. He's there. Thought about going wide to his teammate in Robertson, but went back almost in the dead centre of the ground. A lovely kick by Armstrong, driving the ball right down. Nichols from behind knocks the ball on towards Walls. He kicks the ball off the ground, and it's right through the centre as Walls kicks his 5th goal.
Gee.
We've got Walls at centre half forward with 5 goals. Jezelenko at full forward with 5 goals. Nichols in the forward pocket. He too has kicked 5 goals. And now Carlton are only 3 points off equaling the highest score in a grand final. Well, Richmond came back at one stage there. They were only 5 goals, 3 behind. But now they're back to 7 goals, 3.
And Carlton answering every challenge. Richmond get 1, they get 2, and that's the way it's going. Jones taps it to Chandler. Chandler goes wide to the flank on the outside of the ground, and there the mark is taken by Robert Walls. What a magnificent game he's turned in. Nichols calling for the ball. It's going down forward. It's not a very long kick. Jackson goes up, but he's getting a free. Couldn't hold the mark, and that was the reason.
McKellar's limping there, Mike. I think that his performance indicates that there is definitely something wrong with him. Not taking anything away from big Percy Jones, but McKellar has been limping a lot.
Jackson, who's kicked one, is 30 yards out, directly in front. Puts boot to ball, and Carlton have broken the record. They've broken the record that stood since 1946 when Essendon defeated Melbourne in the grand final, 22-18. Carlton are 24-9, 153. Richmond 15-12, 102. And we're 30 minutes into the third quarter. Oh, look at those Carlton supporters. And you can hear Ron Barassi, the former coach of Carlton, in the background saying, "You beauty." Well, he might. But don't sell Richmond out. They'll battle this out. Up they go. McKellar gets a tap down, but look at that. It's Dixon who picks it up for Carlton. Down towards Robert Walls. The ball's knocked away. Gallagher comes in there. Bond is after him. Bond just can't get the grip of the ball. He's still trying. Well played, Graham Bond. As he picks it up, he tries a hand pass. Through they come. It's Bond once again in the back for Bond for mine. Little tangle there. Umpire Della sorting it out. And it's Bond's free kick. Bond is on the wing position on the member stand side. The kick going in towards centre half forward for the Tigers. Up they go. Stewart is manhandled. No free kick. The ball picked up by Keogh. Keogh to the half forward flank. Jackson, yes. And Jackson, very cool. Knew what he was about. Took the mark on the half forward flank on the member stand side. He's going to try and run around. He's going to run into trouble. Yes, he did. Highwood stopped him. And Jackson is still battling on, however. Dick Clay knocks the ball away. Nobody able to break clear with it. It's Chandler over to Jezelenko. And the Worm makes one of his very few mistakes in football. He stuck it over the boundary line on the full. Number 25. Dick Clay kicks from the half-back flank. In towards the centre. Hart has the ball knocked away. Taken by Keogh. Keogh in towards centre half forward, and Robert Walls. 2 bites of the old cherry, but it's his. Walls, he's a long way out. Good 60 yards. Sends it down. It's dropping on the edge of the goal square.
A free kick.
Goes Neil Baum. A free kick. You heard Ron Barassi. What for, Barassi? I was watching Neil Baum in the flight of the ball.
Boyce was holding Nick by the hand and Nick couldn't get away. That's how it looked anyway. It might have been another way around, but it looked very bad from...
Nick might have been hanging on to him too, but anyhow, the umpire says it's John Nicholls' free kick. He's kicked 5. He's exactly 11 and a half yards out, directly in front, and he puts it through for his 6th and Carlton's 25th. 32 minutes into the third quarter. Look at that. 25-9, 159 to 15-12, 102. An incredible performance from Carlton. I've got to say it again, they haven't beaten Richmond in the finals game for 52 years. But boy, when they turn the tables, they don't mess around, do they? Back in the centre, Della bounces the ball, Jones goes there, but Stewart in the centre doing the ruck work as well. It's Baum over to Bartlett, and there's a bit of a punch up in the centre between Dixon and Sheedy. It's on. Plays down the other end. Royce Hart settling the boys down. And back there's a kick by McKellar for goals, and it's one behind. Craig McKellar, who played magnificently in their previous meeting, has really not had the best of days. Southby, great player, kicks off from the scoreboard end to the half-back flank on the member stand side. Up goes Neil Baum as he battled all day. Sproul loses possession of the ball, taken by Chandler. Chandler's hand pass is intercepted by Bartlett. There's a chance for Bartlett from the pocket, but he's missed. It's a behind. Bartlett appealing for the free kick. But umpire Dallas says, not on your life, boy. 25-9 to 15-14. Coming up to three-quarter time. Waiting for Jeff Southby to kick out. Southby from the scoreboard end. He's going to come along the member stand flank. Another beautiful kick from Southby. Players move into position there. Up goes McMillan. McMillan of Richmond kicks across the face of goals. O'Connell and Cumming go for it. Cummings in the box seat, but he's met by Southby. Cumming still going. Cleverly taps it over to Rex Hunt. Hunt from an impossible angle kicks. Another behind. Richmond striving valiantly to get out of this. There's a Carlton player down there, Bob. Who is it? Dixon.
Mike, it's interesting to note that Richmond had only had 4 less shots than Carlton. It just shows the difference in the standard of play between the two sides.
Oh, look at that. A little short one from Southby to Dool. And Dixon looks very groggy as the ball is kicked towards Jones. And there's the siren ending the third quarter. And Jones reckons it's all over the way. He's held his hands up there. Three-quarter time scoreboard in the 1972 grand final. Carlton 25-9, 159. Richmond 15-15, 105. The last quarter of the 1972 grand final at the MCG. Carlton and Richmond. We go into the final quarter with Carlton leading by 54 points. 25-9 Carlton to 15-15 Richmond. Richmond started this match odds-on favourites to take out the 72 flag, but Carlton are playing magnificently. The Tigers stirred up now by Kevin Sheedy. He gets it across to Bartlett. Bartlett down to the forward pocket. Cumming is backing back there. O'Connell knocks the ball away. A chance for McMillan. McMillan over towards Cumming. A hand pass here by Baum over to Barry Richardson. Into an open goal. It's there. Can Richmond get back? Can they? McMillan is off, rather McKellar is off. McKellar is off, and the whale, Brian Roberts, is on. Well, Ron Barassi, you pointed out midway through the third quarter, you thought Craig McKellar was injured. Apparently so.
Yes, Mike, and we see the big whale coming on now. Ex-South Australian, Western Australian, about 16.5 stone. He hasn't played a full game for some time, so this won't matter because he's only got a quarter to play. There's Sid Jackson, been a great player. So is Paul Spell, who gets the kick for Richmond. Could be a free kick here, given to McMillan. And they certainly need every kick they can get. They've got a tremendous leeway to make up, but Richmond are a tremendously fit side, so we'll see what happens. There's the punch down from McKay, going towards Keogh, being a great player today. He drives out to the wing position where Carlton again using the space as a punch across here by Dool. A great piece of work by Dool. took punishment doing so, tapped on by Walls, the best man on the ground so far to Jackson. He's down to Big Nick. Big Nick almost got a push in the back, but it's comes through towards Highwood. He's in trouble because he's tackled by Gallagher. He's under pressure and bundled over the line, and could be a free kick. Yes, the umpire has picked up the free kick to Highwood. And Nichols guarding the mark, not even inside the ground. That's how keen Big John Nichols is. He's put in a superb performance himself today as Highwood kicks now to the half-back flank. Walls is in there, goes for the mark, goes to ground. Walsh, hand pass across to Bartlett. Players have been instructed, obviously, to handball to Bartlett. He's drifting around the ground, playing a great game. Coming through there, Southby relieves the pressure with the left foot up towards centre, where Dixon almost takes the mark. Spilled, Bond there, the racer. He's got tons of space to go for a bounce. Tons of pace, tons of space. Goes for the kick. Not a good kick. Balm has the ball knocked away from him. Comes to Sheedy, the back pocket. Can he get a goal? Knocked over beautifully by Balm. A goal to Richmond there. Fantastic piece of work by Neil Balm. He's been a great player for Richmond today. Got it to Ian Stewart, who quickly got his foot to the ball and scrambled through a goal. Richmond second inside about 55 seconds, I would say. Mike, how's the time? Not that long?
We're 3 minutes actually, Ron, into the final quarter of the 72 grand final, and Richmond started off with a deficit of 54 points in the final quarter, but they're picking up now. Can they go on with it? Carlton, they don't want to relax, or the flag won't be theirs. The flag that looked so surely theirs at three-quarter time. Here's Francis Burke picking up. Burke going for a run. It's a beautiful kick out towards the flank position on the outer side. You saw Sheedy held in by Dool. Dool tries a long hand pass over towards Dixon. Good play. Dixon with plenty of space in front of him. Puts his boot in, but it won't come off, however. Hart threw himself at the ball but got into trouble, but he recovers magnificently as a champion does. His kick over the centre towards centre half forward, and McMillan has taken the mark. McMillan plays on immediately. Here's a go, but a mark to Mackay of Carlton. Mackay of Carlton now over the centre, up towards centre half forward for the Blues. Jackson in front, the whale knocks the ball away. Too big and strong, taken by Armstrong. Armstrong up to the forward zone. Up goes Boyne, it's very high, but it's sharked by Gallagher. Gallagher across towards the worm. Jesselenko, it's his. Jesselenko's kick. He's got 5 on the board, and he is no more than 35 yards out, directly in front. Number 25, what a player. The ball being returned to Jesselenko. Very cool and calm about the whole business. Jesselenko, 35 yards out, directly in front, kicking up to the scoreboard end. Lining them up, really going for the doctor. It's on its way. It's a goal, that's his 6th. And Carlton momentarily stem the on-flow of goals from Richmond. Bobby Skilton.
Well, what can you say, mate, that the scoreboard doesn't? 26 goals, 9 Carlton. Richmond 17 goals, 15.
5 minutes into the final quarter of the 72 grand final.
Each time that Richmond come back, as has been the way all day, each time that Richmond look as though they're going to come back, you'll find Carlton steadying and, equaling the score, and in many cases coming back with 2. As again, Jones gets a knock. He's been a great player all day. It comes through to Keogh using his pace. Keogh hooks the ball back. The bounce of the ball beats both Walsh and Lucas. The ball coming through to Highwood. Highwood's there. He's got plenty of time to steady. His kick, though, there's a poor one off the side of the boot. Big Jones is up high, and Jones it is who takes the mark. One of Carlton's real stars today, Peter Jones, has not gone off the ball at any stage so far in this game. It's just short of centre half-back. Jones kick. It's a good kick from Jones, right down to the half-forward line. Walls punches the ball on. Lucas coming through. So too was Jesselenko. He knocks the ball through. Big Roberts is there. Jesselenko almost takes the ball away. Roberts knocks the ball out. It's taken by Clay. His left foot goes high. Up high was Neil Chandler. It comes through to McMillan. He's under pressure. Gets a hand pass through to Walsh. Walsh runs around. He beats Chandler on this occasion. Walsh's kick goes off the side of the boot, straight into the centre. We find Stewart playing it full forward, and he's right in the centre of the ground with Southby. Stewart's kick goes wide. The bounce of the ball goes straight back. It beats Richmond. It's taken by Kevin Hall. He bursts through. A poor kick by Hall. Good play by Southby. It's knocked towards Hart though. Hart with a long kick down over the half-forward line, but there's nobody home for the Tigers as O'Connell comes out from the back pocket to take a relieving mark.
Keogh's down in trouble.
Keogh in a bit of trouble at the moment as we find O'Connell's kick. It's a high kick from O'Connell going towards Roberts, and Roberts takes his first mark. A long hand pass goes towards Morris. The bounce favours Morris on this occasion. He runs around. A long hand pass again finds Sheedy. He lines him up this time. It's going straight towards the big one as it's a goal to Sheedy. Kevin Sheedy, that's his first goal. You might wonder if you've just started watching Interstate Viewers why Sheedy is kicking goals, but he's been on the ball in the centre. One of the many moves that Tommy Hafey has tried. Scoreboard, Richmond 18-15, Carlton 26 goals, 9.
They've picked up 12 points so far, and we're 7.5 minutes into the final quarter. Richmond still desperately trying to pull this game out of the fire. Bill Della bounces the ball in the centre of the MCG. The whale Roberts uses his strength, taken there by Morris. Morris kicks down forward. Cumming and O'Connell go for the ball. Southby chips in there, taken by McMillan into an open goal. There's another one for the Tigers. That's McMillan's second.
And John Nichols is coming on. He senses that this could be a Richmond revival.
I was just about to say to you, can you sense danger yourself?
I can, Mike, because Richmond are a tremendously fit side, and they've struggled hard all day with no breaks going their way. Over the last few minutes, a few things have come their way, and they naturally have been lifted by it. So Nichols, as a good captain should, senses the situation, and he's taken himself from the forward pocket into the ruck for the first time in this match. There's the knock, goes to nobody in particular. Coming through there was Hart. On the ball is Hart. He's battling tremendously hard. Gets around everybody, goes long towards the square. This will be a crucial situation here as McKay has the ball, puts away, and there's Sheedy rushing in. He's kicked the goal. That's a goal to Sheedy. A great effort by Neil Baum. Contested very hard for that mark, and Sheedy coming through, kicked his second goal inside 2 or 3 minutes. So that's a great effort by Sheedy. He's been taken out of the centre, from the back pocket to the centre, now in the forward pocket, and he's scored 2 goals. I suppose he hasn't scored a goal for about 3 years.
9 minutes into the final quarter, when you remember that Richmond started off 54 points down, and now they're only 30 points down. Can they take out the flag after trailing badly for so long? It's Bartlett kicking the ball down forward. McMillan misses a run of it. In comes Kevin Hall. It's Southby there. Southby's kick goes up towards centre half forward for the Blues. They fly high. Hunt's mark for mine. Oh, it's going the other way. It's called play on, and it's Carlton into attack. Listen to the Richmond crowd. Jesselenko and Dick Clay doing battle. The ball forced over the boundary line, and there'll be a throw-in. John Nichols speaking to the runner, sending a message to somebody. We wait for the ball to be thrown in, midway between the half-forward flank and forward pocket for Carlton on the outer side of the ground. The Blues kicking up to the scoreboard end. The throw-in takes place. Jones and Roberts. Jones or Roberts rather, using his strength. Gets it out. It's taken by Sproul. Sproul into the centre, and Barry Richardson is marked. Richardson. Nick on the mark. John Nichols. Richardson's kick goes towards the flank on the outer side of the ground. Sheedy and Dool doing battle. And I think Dool, it was tit for tat. And we'll find that the kick will be going Carlton's way by the look of it. Be taken by Dool. They didn't fancy that sort of treatment, apparently. The flying doormat, they call him. There's his kick. Going over the centre. Up towards the flank position on the outer side of the ground. Hunter hand pass over to Francis Burke. Burke towards centre half forward. But again we find Carlton in the way. This time in the person of Kevin Hall. Hall at the true centre half-back position. Goes wide to the wing on the outer side of the ground. Here's a go. Sproul is there, but the ball is knocked away from him. Picked up by Roberts. Roberts goes to punch it, changes his mind, eventually does so over to Bartlett. Bartlett coming around that outer flank now. Up towards the pocket on that outer side. Baum flies high. Here's a go. Stewart picks it up. Stewart steadies. He kicks. Right across the face of goals. The ball bounces. O'Connell. He's the saviour for Carlton. He's still going, O'Connell, but he's in awful trouble. Eventually gets his kick. Well done, son. But there's nobody home for the Blues. It's taken by Francis Burke. Burke gets it across here to Morris. Morris breaks clear, but his kick is smothered by Southby. It's taken by Walsh of Richmond. Walsh's kick is a long one down forward. It's swinging in, but through for one behind. No doubt about it, Bobby. They're going down fighting, if indeed they're going to go down, Richmond.
Oh, and how, Mike. This is a real fighting effort by the Richmond side. Every Richmond player has lifted his game at the moment. Carlton, as John Nichols sensed, Carlton, I think they thought the game was over. Richmond, knowing that they're a good side, refused to give in. 29
points of difference, and we're 12 minutes into the final quarter.
As Southby goes to the outer side of the ground, a good mark taken out there in front of the pack by Neil Chandler. Chandler copping one behind the ear to go on with. Chandler on the half-back line for his side. A high kick by Chandler, but it covers a lot of distance. Down to the half-forward line. Roberts can't take the mark. Walls comes through, quickly gets the boot to the ball. It goes wide on the half-forward flank. It's out of bounds. Bounced before the line, though, and we'll find a throw-in on the half-forward flank, outer side of the ground, with Carlton going to the scoreboard end of the ground. 29 points separating the sides as we find Peter Jones and Roberts. Roberts slips at the crucial stage. Jones knocks, is taken by Bartlett. He's under a lot of pressure, can't get the ball away from Keogh. There must be a ball up as neither player could take possession, and umpire Della comes in and does exactly that. As Della bounces, it's again, it's Jones and Roberts. Roberts gets a knock, looking for Boynich. Boynich gets a big punch. It's taken there by Bond. Bond's kick goes into the centre of the ground. McMillan was up high. It's punched away by Hurst. Then Stewart comes through. Stewart puts the ball onto the right foot. It goes towards Richardson. And Barry Richardson takes the mark at centre half forward. Richardson now playing at centre half forward. He's had a few moves today, like many of the Richmond players. He's kicked 3 goals. He's 60 yards out from goal. It's a lovely kick. It's offline. It's just a little short. A good mark by Dool. He plays on quickly, running around the boundary line. He goes to half-back, looking for Robertson in the centre. He finds Robertson. Robertson, a long hand pass to his skipper in John Nichols. And Nichols goes through the centre. A long kick. It finds Rex Hunt. And this time Hunt mark has been paid. Hunt at centre half-back. He started the game there. Was moved to centre half-forward and to full forward. Now he's back. His kick's off the side of the boot. It goes towards Robertson and Burke. Both players tired at the moment. It's close to the boundary line. Robertson takes the ball over the line and we'll find a throw in centre wing position, members stand side of the ground. It's John Nichols and Big Roberts. There's plenty of weight there. Nichols gets a knock down to Robertson. Robertson close to the line once again. He's bundled out of the way by Burke. And again we'll find a throw in almost the identical position. Again, it'll be Nichols and Roberts. Nichols in front, Roberts from behind, gets a big knock, but he's right in the middle of John Nichols' back. John Nichols taking plenty of time, allowing his side to settle down. We're 15 minutes into this final quarter. As Nichols taking all the time in the world, saying to the whole Carlton side by his actions, steady play up. We need a goal at the moment. It's a lovely kick by Nichols. Goes to the half-forward line. Walls misses the mark. It comes through to Highwood. He's under pressure. Gets a hand pass through to Clay. Clay bursts through the pack. Looking into the centre. Royce Hart was up high but couldn't take it. Chandler bursts through the pack. He looks for Walls. It's going towards him and Walls does. Walls takes the mark. There must be a 15-yard penalty, I'd say, as Ray Boynich knocked Walls over. A foolish one by Boynich Sanders. It puts him right on the square. Walls has kicked 5 from centre half forward. A great opportunity to bring up his 6th and steady the game for the Carlton side. Walls kick right through. You can see Peter Jones signalling that it's full points, and that's Walls' 6th. And Carlton go back to a 35-point advantage as they go to 27 goals 9. Look at the kicking, 27-9. Richmond 20 goals 16, 36 shots each, and yet there's 35 points separating the two sides. And it was mentioned by Ron Barassi, this is, indicative of the difference in class between the two sides. We're going to find Gary Crane coming on as Crane's running around the boundary, getting ready to come on. Bill Della. There's Gary Crane. It looks like Gallagher being spoken to.
16 and a half minutes into the final quarter of the 72 grand final. Bartlett trying to come through with it. Couldn't get away. Hurst picking the ball up, handing it back to Bill Della. The bounce, a little into Richmond's territory, but the bounce brings it back right into the centre. You can see the circle there as Francis Burke comes out with the ball, and looks like Bill Della will bounce it once again. 35 points of difference, right, Bobby?
That's right, Mike.
There they go. Hurst gets up high. Had plenty of opposition, though. Keogh almost had it, but taken by David Dixon. Dixon a long kicked into the forward zone for the Blues. Jesselenko's there. He's smothered, however. Robert Walls takes it. Walls down forward. Jones knocks the ball away. Here's Jackson after it. He's got opposition. Highwood gets bowled over. Through comes Walsh. Walsh of Richmond pushing the ball in front of him. He's got possession. Oh, he's unloaded. He's unloaded. And Walsh's free kick, a hand pass over to Burke. Burke from the half-back flank on the member stand side, kicks towards centre half forward. They fly high. Stewart has the ball knocked away by Southby. Cumming gets it to Morris. Morris a long hand pass to Sheedy. Sheedy a short one. He's popped it through. Back to 29 points of difference. That's Sheedy's third in this quarter, and we are at the 17.5-minute mark into the final quarter of the 72 grand final. Barras.
It's tremendous, Mike, as Richmond have fought back wonderfully well, because they looked aside, gone at half-time, the same at three-quarter time, but they've put in an enormous effort, which has been particularly hard to do because they've had no players virtually in form. But every player has lifted himself up by the bootstraps today as John Nichols gets the big centre bounce knock. It goes toward Bond, who will go for a burn here, no worries at all. A hand pass across here to the three-goal man, but it didn't come off because it wasn't a good hand pass by Bond towards Sheedy. The kick comes towards Sid Jackson. He's been a good player for Carlton today. Borkshire, he's a punt. Will drive now up towards the square as Percy Jones is in the box seat, but it comes to Highwood, who hand passes. Has it snatched away by Jesselenko.
7 goals.
That's what they call a perfect interception.
18.5 minutes into the final quarter.
That's again the answer that Carlton has brought out as Gary Crane comes on. And there's the score. Carlton 28 goals 9 to Richmond 21 goals 16, and Jesselenko's 7th goal, I think, puts him up amongst the equal record breakers for a grand final. I think he joins about 5 or 6 players, so I think everybody in the stadium, if they knew this fact, and I'm sure a lot do, would like to see Jesselenko get 8 and break the record.
Wonderful football from Carlton, but the Tigers, they'll still be in there fighting to the final siren. They still have hopes of winning it. Don't kid yourself about that. Waltz down to the half-forward flank on the outer side. Bill comes out on top. Over to Dixon. Desperate tackling from Sheedy. Look at this. Well played, Richmond. A hand pass to Morris. Morris to Bartlett. Bartlett down forward. Mackay is running back, and he takes a safe mark in defence. David Mackay of Carlton. He'll go along the outer flank. Mackay's kick. Going deep to the flank position on that outer side. They fly high. It's taken by Gallagher almost, but it's Bartlett coming out on top. The umpire's whistle is gone, and a free kick going Carlton's way. Bill Della. There's Dixon. Three-quarter time. The doctor had a good look at him. I don't think he's feeling too happy at the moment, but in about 10 minutes' time he might be feeling a lot happier than he is right now. Will Carlton hang on to take out the flag as Dixon kicks? His kick goes in towards the centre of the MCG. Lucas couldn't hold it. Through they come. Armstrong is there. The ball picked up by Roberts of Richmond towards centre half forward. And the mark taken by Kevin Hall of the Blues in defence. Hall at centre half back, about to drive Richmond out. Richmond still struggling. The do-or-die effort as we watch Hall. Hall's kick goes to the wing position on the outer side. Up goes Royce Hart, and a captain's mark taken by the great Richmond champion. His boots come off, but he kicks without the boot. Down towards the pocket on that outer side. Southby knocks the ball away. Through comes McMillan. Couldn't get the run of it. Hurst is there. Hurst comes out with the ball. Well, what's the umpire going to do? He's going to bounce it. A bounce midway between the forward pocket and half-forward flank on the outer side for the Tigers. There's the big knock away. It goes to Bartlett. He's roving well. Bartlett swings it around towards the goal square. Here's a go. Sheedy. He could be paid it. Yes, he will. He'll be paid it. He's kicked three in this final quarter, and this could be his 4th coming up. He is only 15 yards out, directly in front at the 21-minute, or coming up to the 21.5-minute mark into the final quarter. Sheedy couldn't see him missing it. There it goes. Oh, good God, he has. Well, there you are, Bobby. I must have joned him, and I apologise for that, but I honestly couldn't see him missing it.
Well, I couldn't either, Mike, because Sheedy's normally a reliable kick. But when you kick a drop punt, you take a bit of a chance. Unless you drop it completely right, he can go straight off the boot, as that one did. 34 points now separating the two sides. Jeff Southby again lining up to go towards the outer side of the ground. It's a high kick, not a good kick in comparison to the normal Southby kicks, but it's punched clear of the pack and it goes over the line, and we'll find a throw-in on the half-back flank outer side of the ground. It's Jones and Roberts. Roberts was up high. Jones naturally would be tired as Bartlett's kick smothered by Doyle, gets a hand pass back to Armstrong. Armstrong now goes into the centre of the ground. There's Robert Walls. Walls bursts through, gets a hand pass across to Gary Crane. Crane grabs hold of the ball. His kick smothered. It's taken by Wayne Walsh. He comes through to the centre of the ground. A long kick down to the half-forward line. Almost a good mark to Kevin Hall, but as the players go on, it's Armstrong who grabs it, puts it wide. It's all Richmond's. We find Royce Hart there. Hart walks back. A long kick by Hart goes down towards the forward pocket. Baum comes out, almost a mark. It's now taken by Southby. Southby steadies play up with a long hand pass. It goes straight though. It's Sproul who grabs it, puts it back into the goal square. Up high was Sheedy, but couldn't take the mark. It comes through to Ian Stewart. He dives over the ball. So too does Hurst. McConnell kicks the ball off the ground, and already
just as well the whistle
had blown the whistle to indicate that he was going to bounce the ball.
23 minutes into the final quarter. The bounce of the ball about to take place. You can see where it is. Only yards out from the Richmond goal. There goes Brian Roberts, taps the ball down. It's picked up by Ian Stewart. He swings around, he kicks, but he's hooked it around far too much, and it's out of bounds on the full. David Mackay will take the resultant kick. Mackay, number 43 for Carlton. Carlton look like going on to the 72 premiership. And what a night there'll be tonight. A hot time in the old town. Here comes Mackay. Mackay's kick. Out to the half-back flank on the outer side of the ground. Hart in front takes the mark. He's about to play on, and he gets the gift as Gallagher falls over. Southby there, taken by Mackay, however. Mackay straight into no man's land. They're coming at it from all angles, as you can see. The ball being juggled there by Chandler. Chandler comes out with it, hooks it around. He gets it across here towards Armstrong. Armstrong to the centre half-forward position. Jesselenko is completely surrounded. They're on top of the ball, and there'll be a ball up at the centre half-forward position for Carlton. Carlton are 28-9 to Richmond 21-17. The knockaway. Jackson comes in there, picked up by Dick Clay. Clay goes out to the flank on the outer side of the ground. Bond couldn't control it. He runs into Jesselenko. Jesselenko in a lot of trouble there, and he could get a free. Look at this. Temper's getting a little frayed out there. As Jesselenko, he's a long way out. He'd have to kick this 80 yards to put it through. He's kicked 7. And I'll tell you something, he's going to have a go at it too. It'll be a mammoth kick if he does put it through. Up it comes. It's on its way. It's dropping on the edge of the goal square. The ball taken by Cumming. He tries a hand pass over towards Clay. Clay of Richmond gets his kick to the wing position on the outer side. The players racing for it. Sproul is there. Sproul comes out on top. A hand pass over to Barry Richardson. Barry Richardson in trouble. Back to Sproul. Sproul of Richmond in towards centre half forward. Players fly high. The ball's knocked away from Stewart by Southby. Goes to Armstrong. Armstrong with a half forward flank for Carlton on that outer side. Up goes Walls. He knocks the ball away from Bond. Bond is close to the boundary line. Good play. A hand pass over towards Cumming. Cumming runs into Keogh but keeps going. Cumming picks up his kick. Goes to the half-forward flank on that outer side. Barry Richardson going for it there with Southby. Southby almost put a policeman over the fence. And the policeman must have shuddered a bit to see two hulking footballers bearing down on him full speed ahead. There'll be a throw-in on the half-forward flank for Richmond on that outer side. Jones, a tireless effort today, but I think he's pretty well gone now. Ball picked up by Cumming. The kick smothered. The chance for Dixon. He couldn't clear it, however. Picked up by Jones. An awkward sort of hand pass goes to Kevin Hall. Hall to the half-forward flank for Carlton on that outer side. And Hunter one-hander. And look at this. Play goes on. Out comes Highwood with the ball. Highwood of Richmond. on the wing position, but he's weary. He dropped it, but he hand passes over to Bond. Bond steadies and a long kick down forward. Barmer's there, but look at the opposition he's got. They fly, and it's a mark Richmond's way to Hart. Hart's kicked 1 goal. He would be 45 yards out. He's on an angle, kicking to the Richmond end goal. On its way, it looks pretty good from here. And a goal to Richmond. A goal to Richmond coming up to the 27-minute mark into the final quarter. And 28 points of difference. Bobby, could you see them doing it?
Well, I can't really, Mike. Time's running out. We're into time on now, and there's still 28 points, so it's 5 goals that Carlton actually are in front. And I can't see Richmond, as tired as they are, kicking 5 goals in time on of a grand final. But Richmond, you know, they are not going to be denied as they still keep fighting. Gallagher grabs the ball. His kick's smothered. It comes back to Gallagher. He puts it down. Through came Walls. Goes through to Lucas. Lucas drives the ball. It's off the side of his boot. Peter Jones is there. He's dog-tired, Jones. As Dick Clay using his pace. Clay's there. Jones had nothing left in his legs at all. As the ball goes wide, it's Jackson and Dixon. Jackson leaves the ball for Dixon. He walks around his opponent, steadies play up, puts a short one in and finds Jesaulenko. And you can be certain that it'll be a while before Jesaulenko kicks the ball, because he's going to take all the time in the world. Jesaulenko obviously being told, and you could see him nod to Bill Dalla, that Bill Dalla had told Jesaulenko, hurry it up a little bit. Jesaulenko's kick, it's a lovely kick from Jesaulenko, right down to the pocket. The pack fly in front was Boyanich, and it's Boyanich who takes the mark. He plays on quickly with a hand pass, finds Bartlett. Bartlett steadies play up and drives the ball further around, but it finds Dixon. He has the ball knocked away, gets one to go on with. Chandler gets it, hand passes back to Dixon. He left foots the ball down. It's right down, but it's all Richmond. Boyanich puts the ball away from his teammate in Clay. Clay gets a big knock. It goes back to Robert Walls. Walls has his head nearly pulled up, but it's called play on as Wayne Walsh grabs the ball, runs away, finds Paul Sproul out on the centre wing position. He's all on his own. He's got yards. He drop kicks the ball in towards centre half forward. Sheedy's going for it, so too is Stewart. Stewart balks back onto the right foot, puts a short one down, and he finds Barry Richardson. Richardson plays on quickly, drives the ball towards the big ones. It's offline though, bounces across, and 1 point only results.
29 minutes into the final quarter of the 72 grand final, and Carlton look pretty certain to beat Richmond in a final series for the first time in 52 years. Boy, oh boy, look at that scoreboard. 28-9 to Richmond, 22-18.
Richmond have equalled the previous highest grand final score, Mike.
Well, there you are, and they've struck a better team on the day in Carlton. Great credit goes to both sides. It's been a cleanly fought game, and there's the big whale, Roberts. Too tall for John Nichols, taking the mark. Over to Bartlett it goes. Bartlett showing intelligence, making position. Bartlett down into the forward zone. Barmer's completely swamped then. A chance for Kevin Hall. He pushes the ball in front of him. The players are so tired. Picked up by O'Connell. O'Connell now to the half-back flank on the member stand side. And Francis Burke has given away a free kick. Crane to take it. Crane on the half-back flank on the member stand side. A tremendous effort. Look, the scoreboard tells the story. What a great effort. Richmond 22-18. It would have won any other grand final that you could possibly think of except this one, because Carlton are 28-9. A wrestle on the ground there. Don't get too hot now, fellas. We wait for umpire Bill Dalla. We've got to give him a rap too. Great job. He bounces the ball in the centre. Up they go. Nichols is there, taps the ball down. It's taken by Bartlett. Kevin Bartlett to the half-forward flank on the member stand side, but O'Connell stands firm and takes the mark. O'Connell of Carlton limping. Players, they must be dog-tired out there. There's a siren! Siren! Carlton have won it! Carlton have won it! And they're going mad here at the MCG. The Blues have won it, and the final scoreboard reads Carlton 28-9, 177. Richmond 22-18, 150. Well, this is a most incredible sight. Most incredible sight that you could see at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. There's Father Brelia, Carlton's parish priest, I'm sure. There's Jesaulenko, giving the European hug and kiss to his captain and coach, John Nichols. Big Nick, well done. His first year as captain and coach. Bert Deacon, a former Brownlow medalist, there smiling broadly. And Big Jones, what a great game, a tireless effort. But I'll tell you, he was finished. He was gone, poor old Perce, before the final siren. Carlton, a great effort. They've taken out the 1972 flag, captain and coached by John Nichols. Well, Ron Barassi, let's hear a comment from you.
Well, I should imagine the proudest man in the stadium is Big Nick. He's played a tremendous game himself today. He's led the team beautifully. The coaching's been magnificent. The planning has been great, and it's all come to fruition with a magnificent win against a side that was an excellent side throughout the year. Played poorly in the first half, but never gave in the fight, and certainly made Carlton earn their first victory over the Richmond side in 52 years of finals playing. So there's Big John Nichols, the first captain and coach to bring off a premiership since Charlie Sutton in 1954. So that's 18 years since a captain and coach has brought home a flag for his side. And he's just the ants pants as far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure as far as every Carlton supporter is concerned too. And there's Perce Jones. I never thought that he could last out a game so well, particularly as he hasn't been given the task. There's the Richmond crew.
Look at Tommy Hafey. Bad luck, Tom. That's the way it goes.
Well, Tom has never been in this position before of losing a grand final. He's tried for 3 and won 2 before this. It's his first loss, so he'll be copping it pretty hard.
The Carlton team now going up to receive the VFL Cup. Tommy Hafey, Ricky McLean saying sorry. They're dejected. They went into this odds-on favourites, but it wasn't to be. His Excellency, the Governor of Victoria, Sir Owen Delacombe, will present the cup to the Carlton players. We presume that's how it's supposed to be. Sir Owen Delacombe, by the way, is an ardent Richmond supporter. There's Big John. A pretty slow sort of process, though, by the same token. They're waiting for His Excellency. Look at that. Well, Bobby, let's hear a comment from you on the match.
Well, Mike, the scoreboard tells the story, and what a... There it is, 28 goals 9, Richmond 22 goals 18, and that 22 goals 18, as we mentioned, equals the highest score ever in a grand final, which previously was by Essendon.
There you are. Well, John Nichols had to go up into the stand to receive the cup from His Excellency, and now you'll see the Carlton players do a lap of honour. Bert Deacon behind John Nichols. And let me remind you that on Football Inquest tonight at 6:30 we'll have Lynn Thompson from Collingwood, the reigning Brownlow medalist, Adrian Gallagher from Carlton, Francis Burke from Richmond, John Nichols from Carlton, Royce Hart from Richmond, Alex Jesselenko from Carlton, and the 1972 grand final umpire Bill Della. Oh, what a night it's going to be. Followed at 7 o'clock on the big replay, on 7, at 7, the entire 1972 grand final. Well, there's Big Nick. So you'll be watching Channel 7 from 6:30 on tonight.
Needs 10 men to lift him.
Yes, I wouldn't like to be under there carrying Big Nick.
I think
around.
it's little Sid too. Oh, gee, he's a game man.
I must say this about Tommy Hafey, and I say this from personal knowledge. I don't think any guy has ever worked harder for a premiership than Tom. And he's dejected because Tommy would take this very, very much to heart. On the other hand, the jubilant Carlton players now doing their lap of honour. The capacity crowd at the MCG saw Carlton take out the 1972 flag in a most workmanlike and brilliant fashion. They deserved it.
Well, Mike, I think those two words contradict each other. There's probably a bit of both, particularly towards the finish when the brilliance had gone from the Carlton side because
Don't get cocky because you won
I'm not, but I'm just saying the brilliance had gone because of tiredness, and then it became more workmanlike. But this is probably the best game that Carlton's, well, I'd say that they'd ever played, because the football was superb. 28 goals in a match to beat an opponent who kicks 22 is you have to play brilliant football for that to happen. And there's the Carlton crew. They're a very happy bunch. They've won their 3rd premiership in 4 or 5 years, the 4th grand final appearance, and they're a tremendous bunch of fellas. Kevin Hall taking it, Percy Jones, A great game, probably the best game he's ever played for the Blues in his whole career, which spans, I think, 8 years now. A magnificent effort by Jones. There's Ian Robertson, a little kid jumping all over him. Jeff Southby being hugged by a female fan. He loved that. Well, there they are. That's tremendous. I think no matter what side wins a grand final, if you are looking on, you feel really pleased for the victors and sad for the losers. But unfortunately, in this game of football, there has to be one of each.
Sydney.
There's little Sid. Bert Deacon, George Harris.
Gorgeous George, look. I knew he'd finish up with it.
King Rat's got the cup.
I knew he'd finish up with it. Look at George trying to face to the television cameras too. Well, Ronnie, the trip overseas is going to be a ripper now.
It'll be a beauty.
Oh.
I think I should have delayed the north bit till after the trip.
Yes, you should have.
No, not really.
Well, that's the way
Great
it
effort
goes.
by Carlton.
Well, that's a finish here at the MCG. It's been a wonderful season. We've been glad to have your support on Channel 7. And repeating for your Football Inquest at 6:30 tonight, and at 7 o'clock the entire 1972 grand final on the big replay. The final scoreboard reads Carlton 28-9-177, Richmond 22-18-150.